And if we get Oates in the middle of George, we may just, politely let George go.
Okay.
So
I would think he'd be down here.
50 days away from college football here in the state of Oklahoma. Kicking it off in Stillwater. 57 days away from the NFL getting going. In the breaking news, the Oklahoma City Thunder, Chet Holmgren maxed out. He will get the rookie max extension, $250 million over 5 years. Like I mentioned, Matt Raves here in Kingfisher, rather. Matt Myers back in studio, and we got Mark Rodgers and Tyler Adams down in Frisco. Same environment today. I mean, I know it's kind of, there's probably just people. Is it just a massive humanity down there in the Star, or what is it like?
The field is pretty crowded. There's a lot of media here, but there's no one else other than the media and the players and the delegations from the team. So the crowd stands are completely empty, other than a few people that are, maybe setting up there from time to time. That's it. And the field is pretty packed.
Now, the SEC Media Day has fans, right? Didn't you tell me that fans were there in some capacity?
Yeah, there are fans that are always around, the hotel and things like that. And the SEC Media Days is very different from the Big 12. The SEC Media Days are 4 teams a day for 4 days. This is 7 teams a day for 2 days. And so there are really more opportunities to interview players and have some one-on-one time here than there is at other places.
Well, that makes sense. The SEC is just it's built a little bit different, and so you can get away with doing something like that. So we're awaiting Iman Oates from Oklahoma State, the nose tackle, and we should have him pretty shortly here. And those guys are going to have great interviews that you can hear on our podcast page, whether they broadcast live or they do them off air. All of them are going to be on the podcast page, streaming on YouTube as well. You can search WWLS and find that. While we had a second, I had a question for you guys. I was thinking about some of my worst all-time summertime college football takes. And I was wondering if you guys had any freezing cold takes, college football-wise, from the summertime. I mean, it could be last year, it could be 40 years ago. But this is the time of year where not all of them age the best.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if any came to mind for you.
I definitely do, and I appreciate everybody for reminding me probably once a year. 2015, I picked Oklahoma to go 6-6. They went 11-1 and made the college football playoff. They were coming off a wretched year defensively. This is before we knew how good Mayfield was going to be. We had seen him at Tech, but we had no idea really that what he would turn into. Certainly, I didn't know that he would be, a couple years away from a Heisman Trophy and a number 1 overall pick. Had kind of heard some things that I didn't do a good job filtering out, and I made a dumbass pick. So, yeah, that's me in 2015, picking OU to have a 500 season.
I'm an OSU here?
Hey, well, I mean, you could have picked OSU last year to win the league, and they didn't win a game.
We did.
We sure did.
We did that, yeah. We absolutely did. So, and by the way, those things Matt was hearing, it wasn't just like random fans or anything like that. I mean, it's people who knew things.
Predictions to me are fun. I mean, it's what everybody likes to do. We like to do it here. Fans like to do it. It's something that people talk about all the time. You like to give it up to yourself if you're right. You like to forget about it when you're wrong. It's the same thing that every
of course
does, right? That's the reason why we have magazines, and that's the reason why we talk about the sport and try to project what's going to happen.
Now, the Big 12 tried to get rid of predictions because of what Arizona State did last year. Yormark confirmed that. There will be no preseason poll, which the more I think about that, the more lame I think that is. I mean, you need all the publicity you can get if you're the Big 12.
Well, it's a funny thing, I think, if you do it 1 year and just say, okay, you guys are suspended for 1 year for picking the team 16. Next year we'll get back to it. I'll give Yormark a pass. Hopefully that's the reason why that happened, but I do think that he's somewhat of an elite marketer, so I think he also has a little bit of a sense of humor too.
Sure, absolutely.
Down there from Snapback Sports are now posing for pictures together. So, but we've got Iman coming down right now.
They're really getting their money's worth, aren't they? I mean, good Lord.
They are. I mean, the first thing I'm going to ask is what was going on down there?
No kidding. I mean, they're handing out lottery tickets, or what's going on there?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we'll get him pretty shortly here. So, I had some
right now.
good deal.
Good.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. All right. We've got a couple of questions right away that I think we need addressed. First, you can look into the camera.
Yes, sir.
Tell the people from Oklahoma City hello.
How you doing, Oklahoma City?
Tell me about the necklace.
Oh, the necklace. Oh, okay, so it's my initials. My big brother, he's in like architect.
Yeah.
He works for the city in Tulsa. Like he designs stuff before they're built.
Right.
So he's been drawing it my whole life. But so I had him.
You got your own logo. That's
yeah.
pretty cool.
I had him put together a logo for me like 2 years ago, and then I sent it to my jeweler that I was friends with, and he got it done. I mean, this Iman. It's an I-O. And then it got my number right here. So
Matt has a jeweler back in studio, so he might be able to relate to you a little bit. What were you guys talking about down there with the Snapback Sports? They have all kinds of interesting questions.
It was pretty fun. It was just like trivia.
Okay, yeah.
They was testing my knowledge. I like to say I'm a big sports guy and I know a little bit about it. So I was wanting to test my knowledge. We did Big 12 pro players, and then we did formations. We won the formations.
Okay, I got a trivia question for you.
Let's get it.
Who is the Tulsa Edison graduate that is now a general manager in the NBA? Just give me the team.
The team?
Yeah.
Well, I think I knew his name.
Okay.
Pritchard?
You got it.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Nailed it.
Yes, sir.
That's
Yes, sir.
outstanding.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Yes, sir.
Hey, tell us what's been going on in Stillwater. You got all kinds of new faces coming in,
Yeah.
and so just tell us what you kind of
It's
expect.
been,
We start.
since January, it's been good. Everybody came in eager to work. Those batch of transfers we had come in, they was ready to get acclimated to everything, and I feel a sense of hunger on the team, and a chance at new opportunity. And everybody's looking forward to the opportunity to reinvent themselves for sure.
I hear your defensive line coach is quite intense.
Oh, he's very intense, and I was excited to have him and meet him, and like he was a big decision part of me like staying and coming back and stuff like that, because I really enjoy his company and the way he teaches the game for sure.
So what stands out about him? What did you when you said, "Hey, I'm coming back here instead of going someplace else"?
He's just a he's a relatable guy. He's very transparent. He's real, and he has the history of sending guys and working with guys, and just knowing the type of tools that the tools that I have, and him being able to sharpen them with the right. I mean, I think it's going to be good for sure.
Matt?
I had a question for you, Iman, and I don't know if anybody has asked you this before, but I've always wondered this. When you sack the quarterback, what kind of conversations, at least that you could say live on the radio, happen between you and the guy you sack? Are there any words exchanged at all, or any pleasantries, or?
It depends. Like some
Okay.
guys are cool. Like some, depending on the game and how it's going, you definitely get the rated R version of
Sure.
conversation. But for the most part, I mean, it's a game. It's a game within a game. Guys are competing, so it's not nothing malicious out there. So I mean, I just go out there and make plays, and I'm pretty sure he's trying to make his plays. So it's most of the time it's cool. It's cool. It just depends on the intensity of the game. For
Sure.
Tell me a little bit about the quarterbacks at Oklahoma State. What have you seen from those guys, and what are the differences between Flores and Haney?
I just like that they're both being them. Like they're not trying to do anything or try to, they're both being themselves. They're both great leaders, great young guys. So Zane, he's coming along. He's been here for a while. You can see the maturity growing in him and everything like that. And same thing with Hoss. When he got here, he got acclimated pretty well, got comfortable with the guys pretty well. So, I mean, they're both just taking charge and just being what quarterbacks, what we need in the quarterback room for sure.
How fast is Haas? Does he outrun the DBs?
He's fast. I can't even lie. I have a lot of clips in spring where I'm trying to chase him down out the pocket. And, I mean, shoot, getting great practice on him, that means I probably could chase down other quarterbacks in the conference because he's definitely like a 4-4 guy, for sure.
What was it in junior college football like? I mean, you played there at NEO and had a great season, but that is a lot different than the glitz and glamour of the D1.
Yeah, it's just like I tell guys all the time, like when I go back home and people just ask me, like, how did you do it? It's just like, I don't know. It's always been in me as a person and in my life, like just the grind aspect, and just you got to work hard for what you want. And it's not going to be given to you. Like, God set up opportunities for you to get there, but you have to meet them halfway. You know what I mean? So when I was at NEO, I had some lonely nights like that I had to lock in and like really talk to myself and God and really lock in. And it was a great learning experience for me, for sure. It matured me, and it helped me grow in life as a man, as a person, as a brother, as everything. So I think if you take that approach the right way, if you have to go to junior college, then it can definitely benefit you in the long run.
A couple more questions and we'll let you go. Give me a scouting report of your teammates along the defensive line.
You got big Aiden Kelly. He's
Thomas?
fun. Yeah, Thomas, Oklahoma, big fun guy, country guy. He's outgoing. He's great. He's better than you think he is. He gets in his head a lot, but he's great. You got Kyron Duhan just came in from UTEP. Fun guy. He's little. He's coming along, getting acclimated and everything like that. You got Jaleel Johnson, Putnam City, another OKC guy. I love him, man. That's probably my dog. Like, he's my number one guy. He strong, fast. Everything you want as an athlete, a D lineman. Jaleel is the model for that. And you got Demarion Thomas, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Came in from Vanderbilt. Big, stout, physical guy. Can't wait to play next to him. Big Michael Diata from Virginia. He's another athletic guy. Big, fast, strong hands. Can't forget about my guy Malik Charles. Big, stout on the edge. Yeah, we got some guys. I'm excited to play with for sure.
All right, Iman, good to talk to you. We'll look forward to talking to you throughout the season, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you for having me.
Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir.
Iman Oates, Tulsa Edison grad, and playing now at Oklahoma State on the defensive line. So it's a group that the Cowboys on that side of the football are going to need to show some improvement a little bit. Also, hold on just a second. We're going to have we got Cam Smith coming up here next. So
all right, sounds like we got
what up, Cam? How you doing? Doing great. Good to see you. All right. Cam, how you doing today, man?
Doing good.
Do you get to answer some trivia questions over there?
Yeah, just a little bit. Helped out my boy Iman.
If you were going on a quiz show, what category would you want to be asked in trivia?
You got to be something football related, Star Wars.
Okay.
Yeah, football and Star Wars for sure.
Star Wars, I probably not be as good at that.
What's the best Star Wars, Cam? What's the best Star Wars movie, in your opinion? Revenge of the Sith? So you're going with that's one of the newer ones, right?
No.
Yeah, that was 2005. Well, 2005. It's new to me, Cam, not you. So.
I just saw Empire Strikes Back, and then that was it for me. I was out, so that's my bad. I'll have to check out some of the rest of those. You had 27 starts. I said when OSU takes a field against Tennessee Martin to open the season, there may not be the rest of the entire other 21 players on the field have as many starts at OSU as you do. So how important is your role on this team, just being a leader and guiding guys?
Just showing them, the proper preparation going into the game, because like you said, I started 27 games. So I know what it takes, before the game to, mentally and physically prepare. So, show the younger guys or someone who hasn't gotten as many starts, the ropes as that. And just, teach them, like, little things I do to, like, kind of keep myself calm, and mentally lock in before the game.
There's some really good quarterbacks in this league. And you guys will go up against Sawyer Robinson in the first conference game. So what is your evaluation kind of scout on the other quarterbacks in the league?
Just kind of pick up on their tendencies, things they do, kind of study the formations that they have, based off this formation, what targets, they like to see, third downs, their targets, basically just studying, picking up on those little things.
Oklahoma State's got almost an entirely new group of wide receivers. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Who's tough cover for you in practice?
This spring, we a lot of the new receivers, they're really good. Io, Gavin Freeman, Dwayne Lofton. Recently we just added, a receiver from Marshall and a receiver from UCO, and I think those are two good additions. It don't really matter what receiver I'm going against. I kind of, just try to, play my game and do what I can do.
Terrell Davis had a great season at UCO, and you mentioned him coming in from Choctaw. Can he make that transition, you think, from that level into Division I?
Yeah, definitely from what I've been seeing. I feel like, you hearing someone come from D2 to D1, you like, he's just going to be a role guy. But I don't think he's that. I think he could really make an impact this year.
Tell me about the quarterbacks. What stands out for each of those guys?
I think they all have their own, little things, to their game that they do. I think they're all good in their own way, and they all can add something to our offense.
What's your favorite place to play on the road in the Big 12?
BYU was my favorite for sure. Yeah, definitely BYU. Just going into the fourth quarter, little thing that they have, with their mascot banging on the I don't know what's called, the big drum up there.
Right.
They can low key kind of gets me like amped up, like I'm ready to go. Yeah.
Well, are you looking forward to the trip to Oregon?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll say that trip to Oregon and Texas Tech. I've heard stories about Texas Tech, and
That crowd can be a little ugly.
yeah, that's what I heard about the
right.
tortillas. Yeah. Last time we played there was my freshman year. I didn't travel. I redshirted that year, and I was just watching on TV. They're throwing tortillas, hot dogs, and all types of stuff. I think that's gonna be crazy.
Do you really feel like you're totally acclimated to Stillwater now? Is it the right choice for you? And what do you like about the community?
Yeah, I always felt like Stillwater was the right choice for me. Every time someone calls me and asks me, what do I like about Stillwater? I just like, it's just a little quiet town. Honestly, obviously, if you want to have fun, you can have fun. But I think, for me to be able to be locked in and, focus on what I need to focus on, Stillwater was the place for me, definitely coming out of high school.
Tell me about, do you have a pregame routine? Do you get hyped for a game? Any kind of music you listen to? Anything that you make sure that you do that you have superstitions with?
Yeah, I'm not really, really get amped up. I like to, keep, my nerves, at bay. But I mean, I listen to like hype music. Like I listen to Lil Boosie Set It Off, like probably on repeat the whole day. And like the night before, I have like a meal that I eat before that, go to sleep, wake up, depending on the time of the game, take a little nap, and then by then, I'm already ready, mentally there.
Iman said he has a jeweler. Do you have a jeweler lined up?
No, I don't have a jeweler. I need to ask Iman about his.
In NIL, I mean, you need a jeweler.
Yes, I need
somebody looking for somebody to sponsor.
Yes, I'm Cam Smith looking for a jeweler. So if you're out there, I am Cam Smith on Instagram.
All right, well, we'll get the Insta out there.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Cam, man.
Yes,
good to
sir.
see you. Good luck this year.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate that too very much. Secondary, it's going to be important for Oklahoma State. Let's see if we can also get Josh Ford in here, who's the third of the three Stillwater delegates coming in here. So 5 minutes. Okay, yeah, that's all right. We got 5 minutes.
Sure. Yeah.
We'll be good to go. So
5 minutes right now.
Yeah, 5 minutes right now.
All right, sounds good. Let's do it. Yeah, Josh Ford, the freshman
Josh didn't want to
or sophomore tight end.
Sit all the way down there on the edge.
It's a good choice, by the way.
Oh, there we are.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, okay.
Come on, move in here, get comfortable.
Yeah.
Ooh. Josh, what's up, man? How are you?
Good.
Good. We were trying to debate earlier today what you call people from Stillwater. Stillwegians? Have you ever heard a term for it?
Yeah, our high school name is the Pioneers. So
right,
Pioneers and the Cowboys.
Okay, you could go Pioneer. He's a native Pioneer.
Come on.
In Stillwater. What was last year like, man? You got a chance to get in there early and mix it up.
Yes, sir. Last year was a lot of fun. Great learning experience for me.
What did you learn?
I mean, just kind of the pace of the game. There's so much little things that is so much different than high school, and just being able to kind of learn as I go, in every game.
What's the new offense? Is the offense going to change very much? Is there a package in there for the tight ends?
There is, 100%. We're in there.
We're not asking you to give up any details, but does it include more downfield action?
We'll see. We had a little bit going on in spring ball, so yeah, it's fun.
Everybody's kind of curious about the quarterback position because we haven't seen too much of Flores on the field. We haven't seen any of Haas Haney. So tell us what stands out about each of those players.
So both of those quarterbacks, in my opinion, great. They both bring great qualities to the field. Haas is a great quarterback, has a great arm, and can run. When we were in one of our speed workouts, we would all line up on the line, and we had all of our big skill on there, and he was leading the pack. And that's one thing that kind of jumped out at me. I was like, man, that guy can run. Zane, he hasn't had a chance yet, but man, he has great qualities as well. Great arm, big, strong arm, very accurate. And Zane can run as well. And so even though he had that little foot injury last year, I mean, he's back up and running like never and ever.
Tell us about the wide receiver position. A whole lot of new faces there. What can Cowboys fans expect at that position?
They're competing. I mean, we should be able to have some great wideouts and slots in there. I mean, we got them competing every day for a position, so it's very competitive.
Can you tell the difference in energy from last year to this year? You've got an entirely new coaching staff, except for Mike at the head coaching position. A lot of activities. So, can you kind of tell us what the difference is from that a year ago to this?
So yeah, coach obviously made some changes. I think those changes were for the good. Yeah, the offense, it's similar, but very different. We excel in different ways and focus on a little bit different concepts. And yeah, so I think concepts are going to be better and it flows better. Yeah.
Since you're a native Pioneer, when the newcomers come in, what do you tell them? Hey, this is what you got to do when you get to Stillwater.
Yeah. So being in my hometown, sort of hometown, I'm originally from Texas, but I lived there most of my life. I'm a big fisher, big outdoorsman, and I love going on the lakes. I love riding jet skis, and getting my line wet and ripping some lips. But yeah, so I'll bring out the newcomers and have some fun.
Boomer Lake?
No, not Boomer Lake. Boomer Lake's a little mud hole.
It is. So you can't get any good bass on there?
Well, the only thing you can get out there is some good catfish.
Okay, all right.
There's a guy a couple years back that pulled out a 75-pounder, and that was unheard of. But no, there's not really good bass out there.
Can you just give us a hint of where you like to rip some lips?
Yeah, I like ripping some lips in some private ponds.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Then you don't have to tell us.
No.
Coach Gundy lets you fish at his place?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Yes,
That's
sir.
good.
100%.
That's really nice. What's going to be the place you're most looking forward to playing this year on the road?
Man, there's so many. Since last year was my last year or first year, I mean, I haven't experienced a lot of stadiums. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to every single one of them. Oregon is going to be fun because, I mean, never been up that north before.
I was a little underwhelmed when I went to Autzen Stadium for the first time. You have a reputation. It's loud. I mean, it's tough. It's good enough. They get the duck riding around on the motorcycle, which is interesting. So I'm sure you'll enjoy that. Matt,
Sure.
anything for you?
I just love the fact that you don't want to give up your fishing spots.
To do that.
You can't do that. I mean, it's like giving up your favorite dive bar, Mark. You don't want to blow up your spot.
That's right.
No, I'm all for the tight ends. I really think that it's kind of a disrespected position. You got to block. I mean, every once in a while you get to catch a pass. So I hope that tight end package flourishes this year, and you catch a lot of balls.
I got a quick one for you, Josh. Actually, I mean, you're in the midst of all this, and we always talk about how the college football landscape is changing. You got any advice for guys who are getting into college or might be in high school right now, getting recruited?
Yeah, I would say all it takes is one. I had one offer coming out of high school, and that was my one shot, and so I took it, and I just put all my effort into it. Don't worry about all this, money coming into college. I mean, I'd say the mindset you need to have is the first thing you need to ask about is where's my playbook, and what can I learn? And so, yeah.
What role did Tucker and Coach K. Wood play in your development of making you the kind of player that Oklahoma State wanted?
Yeah, they sought me out when I was a freshman in high school, man. They started putting me in there and seeing what I could do, and that's kind of where the tight end I grew to love, and so tight end position I grew to love, and they definitely shaped me in who I learned to be and made me a lot tougher.
Well, we wish you the best, Josh. Thanks for stopping by, man. Good talking to you.
Thank you.
Good luck in the season. Maybe I can go fishing with you sometime.
Come on.
Over at Coach Gundy's house.
Wetting lines and lipping rips. Ripping lips. Yeah.
That have the name OU since you got it from Bob Stoops. But anyway, okay, that's the entire OSU delegation. So
nice
to visit with those guys today. I'm glad we were able to talk to all three.
It was great. All right, we got some business to handle. George Stoya will join us tomorrow. We appreciate his availability. We also got the Giants Charcoal Challenge coming up. What do we have trivia-wise, Matt, today?
Major League Baseball.
Baseball trivia. All right, I bet Mark can answer this one. 405-900-9957. Mark's not eligible for the Johnnies, but you are. So call us up, 405-900-WWLS, and you can win $25 in Johnny's credit when we return here to Johnson's the Kingfisher on the Animal.
Information on your favorite team. Get free access anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Welcome back. The Drive is live at Johnson's of Kingfisher, and we appreciate you on a day like this because we're all over the place. I mean, you can try to plan. You never know when these guys are going to come by. And so trivia is moved a little bit later in the show, and I think because of that, Matt, we don't have any challengers. And so you got a trivia question today, a baseball one, correct?
Baseball one. This is a very recognizable name. One very recognizable name is the answer.
So listen, you're listening right now. There's $25 of Johnny's credit on the line, and here's how you can contend for that. You call us up, 405-900-9957. Again, that is 405-900-9957, and you can win $25 in Johnny's credit. As Matt said, this is a very gettable one today. So if you're one of those people who's like, oh, I never get in on time because there's always 5 guys who call in ahead of me, right now is your time. You can get in. We got some lines open for you. 405-900-WWLS. I want to shout out George Stoya, who ordinarily joins us at 10 o'clock on Wednesdays. And obviously that got blown out of the water because of a Big 12 Media Day, and he understands how all that works. And so we're actually going to talk to George tomorrow. So very much appreciate his patience on the literal week of his own wedding, but still wanted to come on with us, and we appreciate that. So we'll catch up with George tomorrow, get his thoughts on Joe Castiglione retiring. Need to shout out Matt Meyer as well back in studio, because producing a day like this is not the easiest thing in the world. Mark Rodgers, Teabag as well down in Frisco, doing an excellent job. And you can go see all this on the WWLS Facebook page, on YouTube, on the Sports Animal app, and on the website. So literally easy, whatever the easiest way is for you. Facebook, YouTube, you should have our app on your phone anyway, or your tablet, or you can just stream us on your desktop computer or your laptop on thesportsanimal.com. We got any callers yet for trivia?
We do.
Good deal.
Let's start off with a man named after a terrific town. Edmund is our first caller. Edmund, appreciate you lifting the lid on this thing. So we're talking Major League Baseball. Here's the question. Who is the only player in the history of Major League Baseball to play 162 games in a regular season and never in that season ground into a double play? We're looking for the only player in the history of baseball to play all 162 and over the course of that year never ground into a double play. Who is that player?
Tony Gwynn?
That's a great guess.
Yeah, that would have been.
It is not Gwen, but that's a terrific guess.
That would have been the name that I put the shortest odds on by far for it to be. So, okay. So if it wasn't Tony Gwynn, it's got to be somebody pretty impressive.
Well, let's see if Rhett knows that impressive soul. Rhett, who are we looking for? The only player in the history of Major League Baseball to play all 162 of a season and never ground into a double play.
Man, I want to say somebody old, but I the low-hanging fruit is Cal Ripken Jr.
Not Ripken. That's a good guess, though. Let's go to John. John, who are we looking for here? The only player, Major League Baseball history, to play all 162 of a season and not ground into a double play during that season.
I'm going to guess Ricky Henderson.
That would have been one of my guesses. It was not Ricky, but that's a really good guess, though.
Yeah, because of speed.
Yep.
Yeah. Fake Nico Harrison on the Johnny's Kitchen and Bar text line has the answer, but unfortunately, fake Nico Harrison has not called us. So you got to call him.
Well, we would love to hear not only from fake, but the real Nico Harrison.
Real
if he's
Nico.
listening.
I got some more questions for him, actually, if we can get him on.
we demand some answers. Let's go to Paul. Paul, who are we looking for? The only player in the history of Major League Baseball to play all 162 and not ground into a double play the entire season.
Pete Rose.
That's another great guess. Not Pete
Not
Rose.
Charlie Hustle. Not Charlie Hustle, although he's going to run out those ground balls. 405-900-9957, 405-900-WWLS. This is a good question. A really good question today. It always is a good question, but this is a really good one. Yeah, not many guys play 162 every single season, so it definitely shortens the pool just a little bit. So lines open for you right now. 405-900-9957, 405-900-WWLS. Definitely a guy who didn't mind getting his uniform dirty.
Oh,
that
absolutely.
is for sure.
No, this guy would, matter of fact, we have a second submission on the Johnny's Text Nation line that has it correct. Let's see if Chris knows the answer. Chris, who are we looking for? Only player, Major League Baseball history, to play all 162 of a season and not ground into a double play during that season.
I'm going to go with Craig Biggio.
You got it. Craig
Well
Biggio, the legendary Houston Astro who played just about anywhere you need him to. Second base, center field, catcher, he could do it all.
Kevon Biggio did not play 162 games in 2019, but he did not ground into a double play in over 100 games.
Wow.
Which is impressive considering
the
lineage as well.
Hey, you back.
Not nearly as impressive as Craig, but we got Mark Rodgers back from BIG12 Media Days. And who do we? What's kind of schedule here, Mark? Are we expecting anybody coming up here?
I would have guessed somebody faster than Biggio.
I would have
Biggio, yeah.
I would have guessed Henderson or Kenny Lofton. I was a huge fan of. I might have guessed Lofton. Would not have guessed Biggio though. I mean, he wasn't wasn't Cecil Fielder running or anything, but yeah, he was not necessarily. He wasn't Tim Raines either.
How many guys play 162 every year?
Well, nobody
couple, right?
anymore.
Yeah,
I mean,
not anymore,
many.
but just like a handful. So just that is an obstacle in and of itself to be in the lineup every day.
That is pretty rare. Coming up the rest of the day, we are expecting some people from the TCU delegation, maybe Josh Hoover, their quarterback, Sonny Dykes, is down there now at Snapback Sports. We will have Bruce Feldman, college football analyst for Fox, 12:45 today. It's always fun to visit with him, talking about all the things that are going on around the college football world. He is one of the best insiders that are out there. And then Kenyatta Wright's going to join us around 1:15 today. So our Oklahoma State coverage will keep it coming throughout the 1 o'clock hour.
All right, good deal. Well, congratulations to our winner today for the Johnny's Charcoal Challenge. We're going to go ahead and hit a break just so we can keep this thing on the rails here today at Johnson's of Kingfisher, right here in the heart of Kingfisher, Mark, down in Dallas, Frisco, actually, to be exact, at the Star for BIG12 Media Days. We'll be right back on The Animal.
OKC, your Oklahoma.
Heart Radio app. You can get all the information at thesportsanimal.com/listen now.
So hang with us on the drive on the Sports Animal. Here at Johnson's of Kingfisher. From sales to service, awesome people out here. Whether you're looking for a new used vehicle, whether you just need your current vehicle serviced, oil change, anything up to all more involved than that, they can help you out. They helped me out several weeks ago with my check engine light. And they can do the same here. JohnsonKingfisher.com if you want to see their inventory. And, of course, if they don't have it, they can get it for you here in the heart of Kingfisher. Got Mark with us down in Frisco. Matt Meyer back in studio. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander got named the cover athlete of NBA 2K26. I don't think it's as cool as it used to be, though, to be on the cover of a sports video game. I don't know quite exactly why that is, but it used to be momentous. Now it's just kind of a footnote, I think.
Is that because you're getting older?
I think so. In the video games, they're not as good anymore. Like I used to like those NBA games, but they're not accurate. So I'm kind of out on them. But pretty cool.
That is such a spoiled child reaction there. I mean,
it is.
Played the basketball game basket where
you
a ping pong ball through a net.
Oh my gosh!
Backboard, and that was all the entertainment that you had.
That's all you needed.
Handheld basketball game that you're pounding that thing with the little red bleeps on it. So I feel no sympathy for your video game.
Man, I was trying to get some cachet with you guys too and be like, oh, it was cooler back then, and that I just got totally rejected at the rim, like Chet Holmgren would do to somebody. So hey, no, you're right. I am spoiled. You're absolutely right.
I don't want to totally change the subject, but I'm going to. Did you guys see, or Mark, did you hear some of the things Scott Frost said yesterday, or did you? Why should I not come off the top rope against Scott Frost on this thing? Because, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. It's the same exact situation as Josh Heupel, with the same exact school, with the same exact dismissal, so to speak, that, he got fired by a place that he was worshipped. And I think, all the time you're used to having those things happen, and that, it's just really tough situation. So I think we're yeah.
Okay. The part I really didn't like hearing was I didn't really want to go. I'm like, what? I mean, come on now. I mean,
if you ask him what
didn't really want to do it was his exact quote.
Remember The Bachelor several years ago where there was my version of the truth? That's my truth.
I thought that was an ultimate.
That happens on our radio station. Yeah, I was about to say.
That is a terrible phrase, but it's appropriate here. That's his truth. I mean, his truth was what happened there was kind of, I don't want to, he went, he got paid. It didn't work out. I'm not sure what happened because he was undefeated as a head coach there at UCF. But anyway.
All right.
I give him a pass because I think it's understandable why he's bitter about that.
Sure.
Hurt people, and he hurt Nebraska. Tried to yesterday.
Learned that the hard way. I have in my past, that's for sure. So I was going to ask you guys about J-Dub's wrist too as well, but we can get back to that because I think we're going to have another guest come on here in another 5 minutes or so. So stick with us here. Mark down at Big 12 Media Days. Matt Ravis here in Kingfisher. Matt Meyer back in studio. This is the Sports Animal.
The middle of the day show. The transmission experts with 10 AMCO locations in the OKC and Tulsa metros. AAMCO.com. Time to look both ways, speed up, and merge. This is The Drive with Matt Ravis. And now joined by the middle of the day show, Mark Rodgers, on a Gunday Hump Day with Cale Gundy.
Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody?
The Drive is on 98.1 FM, WWLS, The Sports Animal, thesportsanimal.com, and the Sports Animal app. This is what's trending now on The Sports Animal.
50 days from college football kicking off here in the state of Oklahoma with Oklahoma State, and then 57 days away from the NFL getting going, and Mark Rodgers is down in Frisco. BIG12 Media Days, the star, as we'll have more and more guests we anticipate as the show goes along. Let's say hello to Cale Gundy. Joins us from Mathis home, 3434 West Reno today. What's up, Cale?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
Good, although I can barely hear you.
Yeah,
Barely hear you. Well,
all is good. Excited to be here.
good deal.
Cale's got the wrong mic potted up.
That's exactly what's happening. 100%.
Years of
We'll work on
experience
that.
in the business.
We will.
Is that better?
Much better.
Better?
There you go.
Now we got you up to 10 cannon string.
Okay.
I wanted to continue the
Yeah.
Scott Frost conversation that Matt Meyer brought up last segment because I thought that was so fascinating. Did you happen to hear or see his comments, Cale, about Nebraska?
Something about make sure and choose the right place.
Yes, and paraphrasing here that he didn't necessarily want to go there, but certain people were pushing him towards that job. And so he said that's what he learned is don't take the wrong job.
Well, the first problem is, he should have never said that. And then the second problem, he shouldn't be influenced by anybody. I mean, he should be making his own decisions. That's ridiculous. You burn a lot of bridges doing that stuff and friendships, and it doesn't sound good to me at all.
Here's the exact
And I
quote.
like Scott. I've known Scott for a long time. I mean, it's not that I'm great friends with him, but
Sure.
yeah, I really like him.
Just to be fair to Scott Frost, Mark, here's the exact quote. I think I kind of knew that the Nebraska job wasn't best for me. It was what some other people wanted me to do to some degree, is what Scott Frost said.
Our text line just unloading on him in terms of his personal behavior. I don't know if I believe some of that. Sometimes personal behavior is cheered when it's when they're winning, and people use it as an excuse when they're losing. If Matt Rule doesn't win at Nebraska, just text this to one of the guys on the line, then I'm worried about Nebraska ever winning again. I mean, maybe some guy to come in there, but I think Matt Rule is a great football coach. He's got it. He's got a magnanimous personality where whenever he walks into a room, it's the kind of guy that excels in recruiting no matter where he is. Rutgers, Baylor, Nebraska, and all that type of stuff. So, and I think there's some signs of him turning around. But if he can't, then I worry about everything that's going on at Nebraska. I mean, Trev Alberts left Nebraska to go to Texas A&M, and he's a lifer up there. I don't know. Nebraska job's interesting to talk about, but Kale, all I said about this is it's such a similar situation to Josh Heupel, and to be revered and loved and cheered all your life for everything that you do, can never do anything wrong, to being criticized and picked apart for just little bitty things that I think fans, if they were in his position of calling plays or managing a football team and stuff like that, you'd go like, bro, you don't even know what you're talking about, how difficult this is. I think that's really tough on somebody, and I don't mind them being bitter about it.
No, I agree, and you said it right, Mark. I mean, it is so difficult to be a head coach and somebody to run an organization, to be responsible for. Used to be, I mean, I don't know what Nebraska had at the time, 150 players on a roster, or rosters around here, but now there are 105. It's just you got responsibility all day long, every single day. And it's very challenging. And whenever you're that person, you're always going to be picked at, about every little thing you say. There's going to be some people that agree and some people that don't. There's going to be some people that agree with you shouldn't have said that, even though you're probably right, So it's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. The best thing is sometimes just don't say anything.
You need to consider your audience whenever you are putting out a message. And I was wondering who his audience was. Who is that going to make happy? I mean, maybe a UCF fan would appreciate that. Maybe. I don't know if he would. But so everybody else kind of looks at that and goes, why would you even, like what you just said, why would you say that? Why would you not keep that to yourself? Yeah.
I mean, I think that needs to get it off his chest. I mean, you saw the videos of Josh Heupel celebrating in the locker room and before the game and all of the things that he said to his team when he came back and beat OU. I mean, and again, I think athletes process things differently when you are used to being praised all of the time, and then criticism comes from the same place that praise did. It affects you. I mean, it's just, I think it's a real thing that Matt, you and I probably will never understand.
No idea how to even comprehend that. Yeah.
So give me a little second here. Y'all know my situation, right?
Yes.
I was at OU. I played there, coached there close to 28 years, and then my deal went down. You don't think there's not a day that goes by that, I mean, deep inside that it stings, it hurts, you can, whether you're upset, whether you're angry, and so I get it. That stuff doesn't go away, but you just gotta, the best thing to do is just kind of keep your chin up and keep your going down the right direction. I've told some of you guys before. I remember I was up at Grand Lake just about 2 weeks after my deal went down, and I was with Toby Keith. We were up at his house hanging out one afternoon, and we weren't even really talking about it at all, And then he says, "Hey, you know what you got to do?" And I said, "What do you mean, what I got to do?" He said, "Well," he goes, "I know you've got some anger right now. You're really upset with how your deal went down." He said, "You just got to keep your chin up. You got to keep your chin up and, continue to be, respectful and to appreciate that place, and things will turn out good for you in the long run, but it's hard. It is so difficult and hard at times when a place can can kind of turn on you in just a matter of a second, and not that it's everybody, it could just be a couple people, it could be a handful of people, but it is very difficult and very challenging.
Kel, I don't know who's responsible for your fate there at OU. I'm sure the text line would go all in on them for the decision that they made. But if you were going up against who that was, if I were you, I'd go for 2 up 20. I mean, just saying.
Yeah.
Good way to put it.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, what did Josh Heupel ever do to this place? Except bring it back from a dark area that they were going through in the middle of the late 90s, and he was a guy. I've told you guys, I can remember when on reporting day, whatever day that was, August 2nd, August 3rd, it's usually like the first day or two of August, and we're having a team meeting, and everybody's in there, and Coach Stoops was talking to everybody. He's excited about this, and we're going to do this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and then Josh raised his hand, and Coach and Bob said, "Josh, yeah, you got a word?" He said, "Yeah, Coach, can I say something?" And he got up there, and he basically told, he says, "We're going to win a national championship this year." He said, "This is what's going to happen. We're going to do this." I'm sitting back there with Steve Spurrier. Steve Spurrier like slapped me in the chest. He's like looked at me like, "What? This guy, but he believed it from day one, and and we all thought that we were going to be good, but in the mind, nobody thought going into that room at all, except one person that believed it with their heart 100% that they were going to win a national championship that year. Nobody thought that at all that would even have been brought up in this team meeting. But Josh Heupel brought it up, and damn it if he didn't do it. And, worked his butt off and got everybody to believe. So, again, it's tough, at the end of the day. I don't think people that maybe cheered against him the day that he came back and beat OU last year, maybe deep down inside, they more so really appreciate him. I would say that.
No question about it. Only thing I'll add is I guess the difference for me between what Scott Frost said and, your tenor, Cale, is I hear you going out of your way to make sure that the message is received the right way. Like I hear you sometimes maybe biting your tongue and not saying things that you would like to say. But he was letting the clip loose on that one. I mean,
yeah. And that's a different, again, I spent 28 years, most of my best friends still to this day are from that place. I mean, I've accomplished and I've achieved a lot of things, and I still will accomplish and achieve a lot of things because of that place. And I understand that, and so anyways, yeah, Scott's deal was, there seemed to be some hate, and we don't know how it all went down exactly. We can speculate, you can hear certain things, you can read about certain things, but you don't really know exactly how it went down at all. But Toby should have got to him before he made that comment, in my opinion.
Yeah, wish she had. So just interesting. This Driving the Sports Animal, like we mentioned, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we are on the app, we are on thesportsanimal.com. There's so many ways to see and hear what we've got going on. And Mark is on camera right now, so that's a place that he's used to being. But you can go catch that on YouTube right now, and we'll have guests along at some point working on some more. Mark, right?
That's right. Ollie Gordon's here today, so I think we might be able to get Ollie
on.
And then Bruce Feldman is going to join us. Always great to have him on. And then Kenyatta Wright is also here today from Oklahoma State, so we'll talk to him about his job. Seems like he's certainly doing a good job.
Did you say Ollie Gordon?
I did.
The Miami Dolphin, Ollie Gordon.
What's he doing there?
There's also a rumor that Brennan Preston
is a tryout.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
He's out here doing some investigative journalism work.
I'm all around.
Did he do any last night?
Well,
did he do an investigating last night?
Today is just be a shark.
Exactly. Hey,
last night was lowercase.
Take your tie off. Take your tie off. Undo about 2 or 3 buttons and go get it.
There we go.
Bag had an appropriate pace of Michelob Ultra last night. Stayed up to almost midnight. Got up this morning at 5 o'clock. I mean, it was awesome.
That puts you at least a couple hours ahead of Spinozzi.
That's true.
Can you tell us where you guys had appetizers or dinner last night, or any kind of fun?
Hutchins Barbecue here in Frisco. Kale, I think I
Okay.
would have liked it. I know you're a barbecue guy. This place was.
I am.
What'd you call it,
I
Mark,
am.
earlier this morning. Something with angels.
Yeah, it was so good. It was incredible. I mean, I think it is still on the Texas Monthly top 50 list. But you walk in, and they are overstaffed. First of all, they've got the pits outside,
Awesome,
which is smart.
And then it's just you can get meat by the pound. It's expensive, but it's meat by the pound, or you can get meat in a sandwich. And then they cut it all up. They got some sausage that they specialize in. I had a jalapeno cheddar sausage last night. It was great. All of the brisket stuff was good. And then they've got a buffet of side items. They had okra, macaroni and cheese, a mashed potato casserole, a couple other things. And they say you can have a boat for $4, and it's up to you how much you want to put in that boat. Or you can have a bowl, or you can have a bucket. And the bowl was $9, the bucket was $13 or something like that. So you just scoop in all the sides that you want. You don't have to get one. You can put all of them in there together. Then the barbecue was top notch. It's a joint, like you bring in your own beer, which we failed to do.
Love it. Love it.
And then they had a soft serve ice cream machine, which there are places in the world that have one, which are great. And there are places that don't have one, which are less great. They had some other desserts in there that I didn't eat, but there's some crap like Craft Barbecue, Butcher's Barbecue in Wellston is so good. They do, but they cook a little bit every day and then they're done. That's not to disparage them. This place is like Jesus with the fish. I mean, they're feeding the masses. So they have to cook all of that barbecue. It's so on a little bit of different level what they're doing, but it was unbelievable.
I love that concept.
You were going
That's a great business idea.
It's a great idea. You were talking about the bowls and the buckets, and in my mind, I was thinking, okay, he's talking about beer, but how do you put beer? I didn't know if you if you just stuck your bowl underneath the spigot and you poured it, and you guys just sucked it out with the straw, because you said $9, and then you went with a bucket for $13. I was like, well, that's a pretty good deal for 5 or 6 beers. Then you guys mentioned bring your own beer.
Yeah,
you guys should have knew that before you got there.
Maybe that's why it's a little bit more expensive. But
how are the sides?
The sides were all great. Again, they were part of a buffet. Back, how good was it?
Kale, you a fried okra guy?
Yes. Yes.
Crispy and
crispy,
salty,
the perfect amount of salt.
Oh, the crispy.
The big flaky salt, Oh, it was awesome.
Nobody ever talks about the sides when it comes to barbecue, and it's important. It's very important.
Oh,
they do. You need those.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Kale. What were you gonna say?
Exactly. I was just gonna ask you how you guys found that. Did somebody tell you that, or I know Mark's a food guy. He does some investigation
for it because he has gone to several of the Texas Monthly Top 50, and he had eaten there last year and spoke very highly of it. And he's a harsh critic.
He knows his barbecue. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. All right, why don't we go ahead and take a time out here. There is some NBA breaking news. Chet Holmgren going to make a bunch of money. We can talk about the impact of that, and we'll have some guests along too at some point. So, okay, what's going on at Matt's home?
Yeah, we need to try to get Chet on it today if we can. No, Mathis Home here. They got their price drop alerts that are happening in July here. You can save big on every room in your house. Look for price drop alert tags and save. They got the largest selection in the state with something from everyone, something for everyone at the lowest prices. Whatever your style, they have it here in stock, so you do not have to wait. Fast, free delivery on everything in the store. Buy today, get it delivered within a couple of days. Stop by and see us out here at Mathis Home in Oklahoma City. There's also one in Middle City, Tulsa, and a new one in French Market Mall here on 63rd May.
Here in Kingfisher today, Johnson's of Kingfisher. Forget the nonsense. Drive to Johnson's, where you're going to find out why you get a dealer for life. Mark Rodgers, Tyler Adams, a.k.a. Teabag, down in Frisco, and they are celebrating Big 12 Media Days. We're covering Big 12 Media Days, and we've got it on YouTube, the WWLS Facebook, as well as the app and thesportsanimal.com. And we will be right back, talk some NBA and some college football on the Animal. Welcome back to the drive on the Sports Animal. Matt Ravis here at Kingfisher Johnson's, and we've got Kale with us, Matt Home, Mark Rodgers, and Tyler Adams down in Frisco at the Star for BIG12 Media Days. We had a trio of Cowboys earlier: Cam Smith, the defensive back; Josh Ford, the tight end; and Iman Oates, the defensive lineman. All of them, Mark, I thought really, really impressive. And you can catch that on the podcast page if you did not hear that live.
Yeah, they're great. And a lot of things to talk about with OSU. And Kale's brother is at the podium right now. I walked kind of in the general vicinity of him earlier today, so I can't tell if he got his hair blown out today or how much product he's got in there. So we'll get an update on that later.
Well, I can tell you this: he's got it dude out. It's 100% working. So I don't think I saw very much gray. So he must have got a little color here recently. It's funny because he gives me a hard time. He goes, "Why do you have that gray?" And I'm just like, "Well, because I don't put anything in it like you put in yours." He said, "Well, mine's natural." I'm like, "No, yours not natural." But no, he looked like he had a pretty good little flow there today. Had a little gray, he's got that little gray beard going slightly. We've been hanging out. We've been hanging out up at the lake. He's been having a good time.
Yeah, the Jayhawk. Just
Sorry to interrupt,
made
Kale.
the heart sign to us. Kale, does he have his own jewelry like I'm in Oates?
No, not much of our family's not much of the jewelry people.
Like having some extreme commentary on there.
The mud hole. I like it. He's a pretty good looking kid, isn't he? Josh Ford.
Yeah, he's big.
Was he? Yep. Not as big, and I would venture true route runners. Josh is a guy that as well.
This is the drive, and these Kale, Mark, Matt Ravis here, Matt Meyer back in studio as well. Kale, you had the idea to have Chet Holmgren on earlier. I've got for Chet Holmgren.
And again, you're talking about a guy continue to get better. Guys that can do those things and to put on a little bit of weight, you're never going to allow him to do that. But he's skilled. And again, seems like he's 2 years from now, 3 years from now, how much better he can get. So I'm glad.
It was listed at 215 in Texas. That's a comparison at all. Somewhat. Just staying healthy, I think, would be.
Again, his deep into the paint is kind of the lead. To handle the ball, his ability to shoot from the perimeter, his ability to factor into the paint. He had 5 blocks in the finals game. All that is what makes him good. He's not going to be perfect, but something that I think every team in the NBA would love to have.
So you don't have to split up the core, which is what's going to be in pretty good shape now that you might have to extensions kick in, and those are the decisions you have to make. But in terms of
well, that's what I was just going to. There's probably a lot of people out
finding somebody to replace that. And that's been a problem for other franchises like the Nuggets. We got to let Bruce Brown go, or we got to let KCP go. The Thunder don't have to let Aaron Wiggins go. He's on a great contract. And then they have a lot of rookie contracts that also figure in that don't really kill you when it comes to cap space and penalties. And Oklahoma City's going to have first-round draft picks for as long as they want them, because they can trade other ones to get into certain drafts that they like. And continuing to hit
the Cavs situation
is also huge importance.
Yeah, they got to continue to do that. Cap situation's interesting. That was 3 years, $9 million for him. I mean, the Wiggins contract, the Joe contract, like you mentioned. To answer your earlier question, Donovan Mitchell's making almost $50 million next year. Evan Mobley's going to be making 46, and Darius Garland's going to be making almost $40 million next year. I would rather have Shea, Chet, and Dub than Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, and Darius Garland. Not even close.
I would agree with that. Not even close. I do like those three. They wouldn't be too far down the line, but no doubt. Can you explain, Matt, real quickly, briefly, just so everybody can understand the difference between the first apron and the second apron?
You can afford to be over. Here's how I'll say it. You can afford to be over the first apron. There are penalties. You cannot afford to be over the second apron. Second apron means you can't have your mid-level exception. You can't combine salaries when you're trading. You can't use trade exceptions. Your first-round draft picks are frozen for 7 years. And then if you are over the second apron for long enough, KO, your first-rounders automatically go to the end of the first round. So you can't be over the second apron. The first apron, there are some restrictions, but it's not nearly as penalizing. And the Thunder will be over the first apron.
When will the second apron take place?
Potentially never with this team. I can't guarantee that. But Chet and SGA's extension into account, the Thunder will be $17 million from that second apron. Dub is going to change that. But that's where you decline options for Hartenstein, for Lou Dort, for Kenrich Williams to get back under that.
Year.
So, yeah, exactly. So they will have ways to get under that even with the Dub extension.
Okay.
They're in good shape, guys. I mean, I don't want to homer out, but they're in fine shape. I mean, they're going to be able to keep that core together.
Just going to knock them with injuries. That's all.
That's the big thing. Caruso's on a good deal. I don't know what the Kaysen extension number looks like. I have no idea how to value him, but you could potentially extend him. Wiggins, like you mentioned, Mark, going to be on a contract. You bring in Sorber, hopefully, to replace Hartenstein. So yeah, they're in good shape. Did you hear, guys, earlier some of the updates on J-Dub's wrist and what he was dealing with during the playoffs? He gave some really good detail into what he was doing. 30 injections, Mark, into his wrist over the course of the postseason.
Yeah. Sources telling me how bad it was, and the fact that he just didn't want to make excuses is impressive. But the excuses aside, how well he was able to perform and the toughness that he was able to display are off the charts.
It's interesting because that's a obviously his wrist, and to get injections, most injections I believe would have been for pain management.
Pain and swelling. He mentioned lidocaine and cortisol. The lidocaine to numb it, and the cortisol to bring down the swelling, right? Is that what usually happens?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just to think that you have to have surgery, but you were able to play that long with an injury like that you had to have so many shots in your wrist. I mean, that's a strange position. I don't think I've ever heard of, whenever I played or coached, never knew of any players getting any kind of shot in their hand or wrist. I mean, if you had an injury with your hand in football, they either wrapped it with a hard, kind of like almost a cast, and just completely closed it, or you did not participate. If you did not need your hand, like a offensive lineman or maybe a D lineman or possibly a linebacker, they would wrap it and put kind of a soft cast. I said hard, kind of a soft cast on it.
Gotcha.
To where it looked like a big old softball. But besides that, if you had an injured hand or wrist, you couldn't play. And it's just it kind of I'd really like to know the true details of the injury itself, of how a guy that has to use his hand. I'm assuming it was his right hand. Is that right?
Yes,
was it
his
the
shooting hand.
Okay,
His shooting hand.
It's just, again, I mean, that's all you do in played basketball. I mean, you have the ball in your hand, whether you're shooting or whether you're dribbling the whole time. So, man, very interesting for somebody to be able to battle through something like that and to play at the level that he did was absolutely amazing.
And to learn, Mark, how to reshoot the ball in the middle of the postseason, learn how to re-dribble the ball in the middle of the postseason. It's hard to take that too lightly. That's a big adjustment.
How do you shoot with your hand numb? I mean, like, you just have to trust the process. I mean, it's probably.
I have no idea.
Since we had Star Wars, we discussed it earlier today. It's kind of like Yoda training Luke. I mean, you got to use the force. Not easy.
He banged in a couple threes now that I was like, there's no way that's going in. And then somehow, some way, he found a way to do it. I saw teams start to back off of him a little bit because they realized, Cale, that he wasn't going to be as willing to shoot. And I guess that's why you don't let that information out there because, gosh, you know this, especially playing in football. If teams know you're injured, they're not going to take it easy on you.
The three
no, that's exactly right.
Thunder might not win a championship if he doesn't make that one. I mean, that was
straight up.
Much of a three as it gets.
Straight up, it was.
I love it. I don't know who he was mentioning specifically. Could have just been the collective we, or could have been we. When he said, people were saying I wasn't ready for the moment. It would be a great quote to play, and I think we got it. But
we could definitely, we could. I think we could easily get that. But that just goes to show you that, Cale. I mean, these guys are dealing with things sometimes that we don't know the full picture of.
Well, it's such a long season. I've become, I've gained more and more respect over the years, just having the opportunity to, be able to go to some games and kind of sit down low. And again, I've said it before, to see how big these guys are and up and down the court, all the running, 80-something games, could be 90 games or whatever. It's a physical sport. And, again, like I said, that's why those guys that come off the court and they get on the bench over there and they all put their sweatshirt on or put their long sleeve shirt on to keep their heat in and to stay warm. And they got knee pads on, whether they're most of the time heat pads or some kind of ice pad. It's a physical sport more so than, again, I think it's more physical. I know it sounds weird. I think it's more physical, the amount of games that they play in NBA basketball than in a football season. I know you guys will probably disagree with that, but I just because of the wear and tear, man, all the running up and down and the explosiveness and the jumping, because you can play a game and you can be a defensive back and, hell, you may not hit somebody. You may only hit somebody 5 times the whole game. A receiver may not get tackled very much. Of course, O-line and D-line is a little bit different. Linebackers are different. Running backs are different. But anyways, a lot of respect for the NBA basketball.
One more quick thing, Mark. DeAndre Ayton was talking about Luka Doncic. He said Luka Doncic is ripped, and not in the sense of the ultimate ripping somebody. Like, he is in really, really good shape. He said he is super ripped. That's kind of tough for me to imagine.
Okay. Does that mean that he's going to be able, as Perk said, to shuffle them puppies better than what he's done so far? Because that's going to be really important for the Lakers if he can move on defense.
I do think Ayton is going to be a really good fit in LA. The more I think about it, guys, because when he pair him with a playmaker like a Chris Paul, like a Luka Doncic, he can finish some plays. He's very athletic. He's very long. He can rim run. I think Ayton is probably actually going to earn some money next year.
Rim run. What's rim run? Educate me.
It's something that we don't do
on
a daily basis.
Something I've never done except on a Nerf rim before. Just a guy who can get to the rim quickly in transition, a guy who can catch lobs and throw it down, alley-oops. Yeah, just a big who runs and jumps a lot, basically. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
He's dribbling into the front court. He's a really good passer on those lobs. Like maybe from half court, if you can see that DeAndre Ayton is running down, without being guarded, he can hit him for the easiest shot in basketball.
I don't think the Lakers will be contenders by any means next year, but Ayton will help them. I think he will help them.
Let's pontificate here for a few more minutes, and I think that
Let's do it.
we are going to have Jaden Bray momentarily. Last time, he was going to sit down with us, and some mean lady told us that he had many things more important to do. And so she is no longer in sight, and I think we're going to be able to get him back over here to our table to talk to us.
Some mean lady. Yeah, that is mean. We got more important things to do than sports animal. I mean, we would like to get a Normanite on here. By the way, I want to ask you that, Cale. What is the resident of Stillwater? What would you call them?
Ooh.
We got Stillwegian earlier, which I had never heard, but that came from the chief. Which
I've never heard Stillwegians. Again, I mean, all I've ever heard was Cowboy and Pioneer, and probably say it would probably be 1A and 1B with the Cowboy being the first. So I'll have to ask that. My brother's been up there a long time. I'll ask him.
We'd love to hear his answer.
Yeah, Teabag can go there and ask Mike what he thinks if he can get an answer out of him.
Mike's been talking.
I mean, I think that could work.
Stillwatarian. It just doesn't roll off the tongue, though, does it? Did you guys see Mike Gundy's image in the new college football video game? The way that they tried to depict him in that game, it was not very accurate.
I thought it was terrible.
It was awful.
Terrible.
I don't even know who he looks like. It's not Mike Gundy, though.
It was the ultimate disrespect because he has that full head of hair at his age that he obviously takes great care of, and that looked like a rug that a maitre d' at a bad club in Vegas would have. I mean,
it really does.
Just kind of painted on, way too dark. So, yeah, it was bad.
I'm going to retweet that at Matt Ravis if people want to see that.
To the like the Cristiano Ronaldo statue.
It really was. Or the Baker Mayfield statue.
Yeah.
It was not a good one. It was not a good one. That's really what it looked like. Mike Gundy said, it's pretty cool. Someone put me in a video game. Someone showed me my hair. They gave me pretty good hair. That's permanent hair. So even fictitious Mike is worried about his hair still, Cale, to your point earlier.
Oh, yeah. Hey, that would have been the first thing. If it had been a shorter cut, that would have been the first thing he noticed. Whether it's too poofy or not, no. As long as he's got the full hair,
it's awesome.
He's going to take advantage of it. Yeah,
that is fantastic. Cale, have you?
So we're going to
go ahead. Got some?
Go ahead. No, I was just going to say, looking forward to getting Jaden Bray on. You know, again, former Norman High School, great basketball player, football player. I can remember I was a big fan of his coming out of high school. You know, before he went to Oklahoma State, I tried to get our guys to go on him, but just couldn't do it. And I'm sure we had a handful of other receivers at the time, but I just loved his athleticism. And on the basketball court, he was a physical guy. I mean, like, oh my God, I was like, this guy may need to play safety in college, and he did in high school. He played wide receiver and he played safety, but I mean, he was so physical of a football player, so physical of a basketball player, and I just thought the sky was the limit for him. So I know he's had some injuries. I believe this is probably his last year. I think this is about year 5 or so out at West Virginia. So hopefully he'll have a good year for the Mountaineers down there.
What do you think about Rich Rod? Because he is very much not about rebuilding. He wants to compete right now, and he's got a totally new roster, like a lot of other people do in college football.
Well, he's going to have his hands full. I don't think I know they don't have a returning quarterback from West Virginia. I think I saw yesterday they're talking about in the Big 12 conference there's 9 returning quarterbacks in the Big 12 conference, and most of those teams are probably your better teams because they got quarterbacks and there's a lot of depth. I mean, a lot of good quarterbacks. Probably most of those guys will probably have the opportunity to get drafted or to make a squad in the NFL. So, but West Virginia doesn't have one. It'll be interesting if Rich Rod will have some success out there. Those fans will love him out there just by his nature, his character, and kind of who he is. I mean, he'll get that place going out there, and I think it's a good fit. I really, really do. I've said this many, many times. That is my most favorite place I have ever played a college football game in, or coached, or been a part of
Really?
a team that's been there. We
didn't know that.
loved it because we played well, exactly.
No kidding.
Exactly. And I was in the up in the press box at that time, but it seemed like we had a lot of really important games when we played those guys. They had some offenses and they were rolling pretty good, and it was typically late in the season. It was typically cold. The student section, them singing. What's
John Denver?
I've gone. John Denver singing the.
We got Jaden, right?
Yep.
Nostalgic. Jaden Braden, Norman High in the
Yeah.
house here. Coach Gundy is on with us, and Coach Gundy was telling me all the time about watching you at Oklahoma State, Cale, not Mike, about how good you were and what kind of impact you were going to make, and no injuries have kind of derailed you a little bit the last couple of years.
Yes,
but say hi to Cale.
What's up, Cale? How are you doing?
Jade, man, I'm doing good. I hope you're ready for a great your fifth year and pulling for you, man. I was just telling those guys, and I've said it a couple of times on here, but I was always a big fan of yours. I love the way you play at Norman High School, and I just said it a while ago. I tried to get our guys to go on you. They wouldn't, and sometimes it's kind of out of your hands. But just love the way you play. I hope I hope you have a great season this year.
Thank you. I really appreciate you. I know seeing you used to come up in some of my high school practices, so I really appreciate you for always leaning for me and pushing for me. So thank you.
You were in West Virginia last year before another injury, right? Took you out a little bit.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about. Cale was talking about Morgantown is his favorite place to play.
Yeah.
What's it like?
Yeah, it's great. I really enjoy Morgantown. That's what really led me and pushed me to stay. Like since I moved out there, I just feel like I've had the time to just learn and grow as a person. Especially being so kind of far from home. The fans and just like the coaching staff that was there, even that's there now, it just makes it really family oriented, and it just makes me want to be there and just play harder for the state, especially like with those type of fans and those type of people. You see how hard they're working to even just try to afford to even come out to a game. They're driving far, so it's just great. It's just great to have those people supporting you. So that's the main reason why I stayed. Coach
Rodriguez is really known as an offensive guy. I mean, he's had a lot of success offensively at the places that he's gone. What's going to look like for you on offense this year?
It's going to be fun. We're going to be high-flying offense, moving really fast. Of course, a lot of our run game is going to open up our pass game. Just going to bite off of that. But main thing for us is we're just going to be playing fast. If you look at some of Rich Rod, if you look back at Jackson State, the same similar type of offenses that they're going to be doing. He's bringing into West V, and they're just pushing us hard every day. So it's been really fun since he's been here. Spring went really well. Fired up about I'm lost. What's coming up? Fall camp coming up.
Yeah, right. That's you like being in the weight room? I mean, you're pretty big.
Yeah, I love being in the weight room. Mike Joe does a great job up there, pushing us hard every day, making sure that we're ready. It's been fun in there.
Cale, go ahead.
Jaden, give us an idea of the QB competition. Who's going to be starting for quarterback for you guys? Has that been decided yet? And just kind of talk about some of their talent and skills.
Yeah, it hasn't been decided yet. We got a couple of guys that are out that are there competing for the job right now. Right now, it's up in the air. It's been great competition every day. I couldn't tell you who's going to be the starting guy now, but I know whoever's going to be in that position is going to put on for the Mountaineers, and then the guy right behind him is going to be ready to come right back in and say if something were to happen to the first guy. So it's been really fun. Like I said, spring, there was so much competition in spring, and even now here, even when we're doing our little metabolics and stuff like that, there's still high competition every day. So yeah, I couldn't really tell you who's going to be the one, but I can tell you that it's been great competition.
Tell the people about Coach Rodriguez. What kind of coach is he, and what's his attitude like during practice? What's his what's he trying to develop there? Is it the toughness? Is it the speed? Defense? Is it offense? I know he's an offensive guy, but kind of tell everybody what your thoughts are about Coach Rodriguez.
Yeah, Coach Rodriguez is a great coach, especially when he steps in between those lines and it's time for practice. It's like he flips a switch, and he's definitely bringing it. Like when he says hard edge, he definitely means hard edge. He's highly intense. He's yelling. He wants things done a certain way. He's very set to a T, and I feel like that's what we needed at West Virginia. He's always pushing the players, and he's definitely even like pushing his coaches as well, just to be a better coach. Because if the players aren't really learning what they're supposed to do, like it has to do something with the coaches. So he even gets on the coaches as well. Say if like we're messing up, he's just on board with everything that goes on that we have to do. He has a big say on to it, and it's just been great having him there. It's like he lit a big fire under the program, and is ready to get it back to his standards or what it was.
What do you do for fun?
I'm a big fisher. Like I fish, especially out there. Like I'll go out to a whole bunch of creeks and try to get like some rainbow trout or something like that. So yeah, I've been fishing a lot. Also like play the game. That's really about it. That's all I really be doing.
Okay, it's the same kind of stuff you do in Oklahoma.
Same stuff I'll do out here that you can pretty much do out there in Morgantown.
Okay,
so,
that's
yeah.
good. A little more
sir.
trees than there are.
A little more trees.
And hills.
Yeah, you can't really do like the big game hunting ain't as big as out there, but as it is out here in Oklahoma and stuff like that. But you can still get out there and have a little fun.
Are you a big game hunter?
I try to be. Like my friend had took me out
elk
there.
Tag?
No, I wish. That's definitely on there. Try and get like a nice buck or something hanging on the wall.
Okay.
But yeah, I fish all the time.
I got some land up in northern Oklahoma. If you want to come back and get a deer, just let me know.
Man,
I'll
have
get
to,
you in
man.
on that.
I'll have to take you up on that.
Okay.
I'd love to do that.
All right. Hey, Jaden, thanks for your time,
thank
man.
you
Good
guys.
luck. All right. Have a
thank
great
you.
year. We'll all be pulling.
Thanks, Jaden.
Yep, good hearing you.
Good luck to you. Yep.
We appreciate that. We're going to kind of blow through some breaks here. Due to Kale's significance and his power,
Hey, you're
I
fine,
believe we're going to have the head coach of TCU on.
Awesome. He's been a great interview every time we've had Sonny Dykes.
Good old Sonny Dykes.
Teabag is now posing for pictures and autographs with Jaden. So, yeah.
Awesome.
We'll get Sonny on here in a second.
I thought you were going to tell me maybe it was the Utah cheerleaders who he was posing with.
I heard seen where they went earlier today. I mean, my friend used to tell me that he thought that that a lot of a bunch of hot girls were just kept in a warehouse and they only let them out in a few specific places, and then when their time was up, they went back to a warehouse. So they may have had a warehouse chick there at Utah.
It's an interesting theory.
Yeah.
Very interesting theory. I would love to see the evidence backing that up. So, yeah, we're expecting Sonny Dykes here any moment now here from Big 12 Media Days. So, yeah, just let us know whenever he sat down, Mark.
By the way, that commentary was not related to any current trials that are going on right now. That was just off the cuff. So
thanks for clarifying.
Don't at me on that. That was not.
Thanks.
Yeah. This was just supposition. I don't know.
Yeah, that's an important clarification there.
We'll ask this, and I'll probably be one of my first questions to Sonny. They were one field goal away from being Baylor last year. And they won 5 of their last 6 games, and then they went and trounced Louisiana in their bowl game.
Yeah, 9-4. 6-3 in the conference.
Talking about them a whole lot, but if they beat Baylor, they may be in the Big 12 championship game. Like they were that close. They lost to Baylor by 2? Something like that.
Well, you and I were talking about that we thought that they had a chance to be pretty good, and with their players that they had, their skill, and one thing that Sonny Dykes has always had at TCU is always got good skill players. I mean, they've got receivers and slots and running backs. I mean, he's got guys all over the place. But when you're down there in the Metroplex down there, you're going to be able to get those guys.
I think that he's got a system, and he's got Kendall Briles now as the coordinator, and so I think he's a coach that knows what he wants to do. And I think a little bit out of that Mike Leach coaching tree is that he doesn't just look in the recruiting rankings and go, oh, there's a 5-star over here, I need to go get him. I think he's always out there finding the guys that he knows are going to work for his system on offense.
I feel like last year with TCU, so many people were really high on them that when they went under their expectations, you kind of tend to write that team off next year unfairly a lot of times. So I could easily see a bounce back. Final score of that one, Mark, was 37-34, as you were looking for. Baylor by a field goal.
The Big 12 championship last year.
It just like a perfect season before. I mean, every throw that Max Duggan needed to make, the run on field goal when they needed it, just all these different things had to go right. The year before, I get mixed up in all this. So yeah, no, absolutely. 2 years ago when they played the national championship. I mean,
time flies,
right?
Yeah, time flies.
I know it does.
But I mean, if you're looking for a team in the league that could ascend and win it, that's kind of in the middle of the pack, then that's them. They got a stud quarterback.
Totally.
And they've got three guys today here that on paper look like they can really play on defense. And so, that could be pretty good. You want to take I don't see Sonny, but I know he's coming in like a minute or 2 minutes.
He's right behind us. We could try to take a quick break.
Well, that's okay. We can wait. Right, Matt? We'll figure it out.
That's fine.
Somebody else will come in and play commercials.
Yeah, no,
I can see our
days like this are
at my screen right now.
Yeah, no, days like this are open ended. So yeah, you just let me know if we need to keep it here for Sonny, then we'll absolutely do so. So
you might have to stay around a little bit longer.
No worries. No, you've been working early and staying late, so it's all good. So I should mention I'm here at Johnson's at Kingfisher. Big thank you to Johnson's at Kingfisher, and we've got Kale out at Mathis Home, 3434 West Reno. Sounds like we're anticipating Sonny Dykes here pretty imminently, but go see Kale for any of your furniture needs at Mathis Home, 3434 West Reno, and they can help you out there. Of course, Mark and Tyler Adams down at the Star in Frisco. Our coverage on the Sports Animal Facebook page, so go subscribe to that if you're on Facebook, YouTube. Make sure you subscribe there as well, and you can see Mark and all these wonderful people, and then also social media and the Sports Animal app.
All right, we have Sonny Dykes with us. Sonny, we've got Kale back in Oklahoma City trying to sell some furniture at Mathis Home. And we were just talking during the break.
What's up, Sonny?
Kale, I wish you were here, man. Where are you?
I know it. I'm back in my home here at Mathis Home Furniture. So hope all is well to you. And somebody's got to work. That's right.
You guys
go ahead, Mark.
You guys were incredibly hot down the stretch, and I really were a field goal away from maybe playing for the Big 12 championship. And a lot of those guys are back. Tell us what the momentum is like for you carrying into the season.
Yeah, we were 3-3 last year playing some really bad football, turning the ball over, just not playing, the kind of football that we thought we would play. Had an open date. We kind of sat down and said, okay, we presented a plan to our players. Look, here's how we can get this thing back on track. And our guys, answered the bell, and they showed up and they did it. And we have a little bit of momentum. I think our guys understand now what it takes to win football games. And I'm hoping that we have enough guys back and we can continue to build off of what of how we finished last year. And so I like our team. It's a mature group. We got a really good culture. I mean, the guys like each other. They really, really want to win. It's important to them. And so it's really, honestly, one of the most fun teams I've ever coached and one of the most unique groups of guys I've been around. And so I'm excited to see how they do. When we've had teams like that in the past, typically those teams have been pretty successful.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Sonny, so tell us a little bit about your quarterback coming back. Josh Hoover's always having a good quarterback, a veteran, a leader. He's a guy that threw, I think he was second last year in touchdown passes in the Big 12 Conference, which is, we got 9 returning starters coming back to the Big 12 Conference, so it's a really good league that's got a bunch of really good quarterbacks. Tell us a little bit about Josh Hoover and type of player he is and type person he is.
Yeah, unique. I'll say that about him. Just a unique guy, very, very mature, quite a bit more mature, Kale, than you and I, for sure.
Exactly.
It's not saying much. Bar set pretty low, but he's, just a super good guy. Just a guy that makes everybody around him better. Can do all the stuff you wanted a quarterback to do physically. Look, he throws the ball as well as any quarterback I've had, and I've been lucky. We've had some good ones, 2 first pick in the draft and Super Bowl MVP and a bunch of pretty good productive quarterbacks. And he's right there in terms of just throwing the football. Ball comes out of his hand the way you want it to. Understands the position. Really, really has made strides and gotten better. So excited about him. My favorite thing about him is just his toughness, man. His toughness, his leadership, his consistency, and his unselfish nature, I think really kind of permeates our whole program.
The rest of the guys you've got today are all very decorated also. A couple of receivers, and then the defensive side of the football is also well represented. You guys won some games last year where you're allowing the opponent 3 points in the bowl game, 7 points. And so that side of the football, can it accelerate to be as good as the offense?
Yeah. So Andy Avalos, our defensive coordinator, came over last year. Andy's been around good football his entire career. He was the head coach at Boise, longtime coordinator at Boise, coordinator at Oregon. Been very, very successful. Knows what it takes. Has a plan. That's the thing about Andy is he's got a plan. I mean, he can make adjustments in games. He sees the big picture as well as any defensive coach I've been around. Knows how to manipulate things and just really does an outstanding job. And I think we'll make a big jump being in year 2. Last year we weren't able to do some of the things we wanted to do because our guys just weren't quite there yet in terms of understanding things. Now they do. Now they understand things. The full playbook defensively is available to us now, and it probably wasn't last year. We were a little bit limited last year at corner, and probably that changed some of the ways we had to defend people a little bit. I think we're 6 or 7 deep at corner now. We've never had that. You go back to our 22 team that played for a national championship. We really played the whole year with 2 corners. And we've got depth at that position, which we haven't had in the past. And so we're excited about the step that we think we're going to take defensively. And, and there were times last year we were a really good defensive football team, and other times we weren't. And so I think that we can be much more consistent.
Kel, you got the last one.
Yeah. So, Sonny, any new incoming transfer guys that you believe will make an impact on your program this fall?
Yeah, we've got a number of guys, and we have two receivers that transferred in. I think can kind of pick up where the 2 that got drafted left off. We got a transfer running back that is exactly what we need. He's 5'9", 225 pounds. Powerful guy that can finish runs. And then got a corner defensively that we needed. Got a linebacker, really talented transfer as well defensively. So like what we were able to do in the portal, we didn't take that many guys. We're a high school recruiting and developmental program.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how we're going to build our program. But the transfers that we took, I think we hit on those guys. They were all here in the spring, and so excited about them and what they're going to give to our team.
Sonny, thanks for stopping by.
Good. Have you?
Yeah, you guys.
Thanks, Sonny.
You guys.
Yeah, he's a busy man.
Yep.
He's got to run off here, so we do appreciate him coming by and spending some time with us. By the way, Sonny should be decorated for his all purple attire today. It is incredibly sharp from the tie to the socks. Very impressive.
That's excellent. Looking good. You can see that on YouTube. Go check it out. YouTube, Sports Animal, Facebook. It's all in the Sports Animal app as well, streaming there and thesportsanimal.com. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Kale. Big thanks to Matt Meyer. Doing a little bit extra today. These media days are always interesting to produce. He did a great job. Thanks to Louis Elder staying late here at Johnson's of Kingfisher. Shout out to Mathis Home, where Kale is today. Guys are down at the Star in Frisco. Mark and Teabag are, and we will see the rest of the way. Middle of the day shows up next.
Division 1 ball. It's a big
Smack dab in the middle of the week, it's a Gun Day Hump Day with Mark Rodgers and Cale Gundy. Live on 98.1 FM, WWLS, The Sports Animal, thesportsanimal.com, and the Sports Animal app.
It is a Gundy Hump Day. As you have heard, we will still work on a few more guests here coming up later on in the show. Maybe some more TCU representation. Bruce Feldman, college football expert, as well as Kenyatta Wright from Oklahoma State. Cale, what is Kenyatta's title officially?
Oh, you got me. I mean, but he's doing the same thing. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't tell you what it is, but he's doing what a GM does. Again, just because it's not your title doesn't say GM. I mean, those guys all do the same thing. You're not doing really anything differently. You know, your main responsibility is the roster, retention, talking to agents, and evaluating film. That's what those guys do, and that's what Jim Nagy does.
I've forgotten his title is Director of Football Business, which is better than the title of GM. I mean, just general manager. That's kind of mundane, but Director of Football Business, giving somebody the business.
But they all, they do the same thing. They really, really do, which is a very hectic job. I mean, you know, they just, you know, a lot of film evaluation, dealing with a lot of agents. You know, man. I've been around it. I've seen it, and it's a very, very challenging job right now, and you got to have a lot of patience. You know, getting into that deal. What'd you think about everybody yesterday? I thought it was a great group of coaches yesterday. You know that were there. Obviously, it seems like some of the teams that were there are some of the teams that were kind of picked to be very, very well in this. One thing that kind of stood out to me, and Sonny brought it up. Sonny from head coach at TCU brought it up that we don't really want to be known as a transfer portal team. We want to be still a high school team. We want to recruit in our area, and Sonny can do that in the Metroplex when he's in Fort Worth. Because he's got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of players around him. Some people don't have that advantage. And so some schools got to go out and spend more time in, the transfer portal. And then I heard Kalani Sakatis from BYU. I heard him say it yesterday that they want to be but they're recruiting certain type of kids and young men to go to BYU. And then they obviously are getting in the portal and they're doing really, really well. They're spending good money up there at BYU. But, very interesting. A lot of, the offensive teams that have been pretty good, Iowa State, Arizona State, Baylor, all those guys yesterday. Of course, Dave Aranda talked about, we don't want to spend a lot of time in the portal, but we will go out and get bits and pieces. We want to go out and get high school players we want to develop. Everybody's talking and reminding their recruits that they want to bring in young men and develop them and keep them there. And some places are a little bit easier to do that than others. And I thought it was interesting what Kenny Dillingham said is we're going to pay our best players. If you don't like it, then get better, become a best player, but the best players are going to get paid the most money. And, if you don't like it, you can continue to develop here and get better and become one of those guys, or I will help you go somewhere else.
I like that message. I mean, you're talking to the achievers out there. Those are the ones that you want in your program. I got a question for you in regards to Sonny. You recruited Dallas forever and ever and ever. I mean, this place like the back of your hand. Was it the right move from SMU to TCU? I mean, it's a bigger conference. I mean, SMU has got all of this money that they put together now, and I don't know how much that matters, but facilities-wise, and that Iron Skillet rivalry is a big rivalry, and they lost last year to SMU. But I know that Sonny was really interested in making the move. So what did you think of him jumping from Dallas to Fort Worth?
Well, I think the question is, which would be a great question to ask him now, which he'll tell you that he loves where he's at, is would he do it right now with what SMU has done here the last couple of years with the money that they have tapped into and
Hopefully
are
he
going
wasn't
out
drinking the
and
same
spending
stuff
money.
Scott Frost was before he answered that question. But,
No, Sonny will not do that. Because he's still in hometown. He's still in that area. He knows tons of people. But I don't, again, I think it was in no doubt 100% the right move whenever he did it.
played for national
He's been at TCU. Yeah, he's been at TCU now for, gosh, how many years? Let's see if I can find that out.
4 or 5.
Half a dozen years, maybe 4 or 5 years. So he definitely made the right move then. The question is, would he do it right now? With how everything is going. But Fort Worth, TCU is a beautiful place. It's a quiet Dallas. They have money over there as well. They do. They have their money. So I think he's in a great place. Like you said, they played in national championship game here recently, and they can get players. They've always been good defensively, always have had good defensive backs, which he said that, they've got some depth there this year. They always had good skill players, running backs, wide receivers. Quarterbacks are going to be easy to find because of the location that you're in. And it's just a beautiful school, man. It's a great, it's a quiet, sneaky, beautiful place there in Fort Worth.
Well, I think that they've got a chance. Their schedule's pretty tough. They've got some difficult early road games, and they open the season on Monday night at North Carolina. So that's a chance kind of for the conference to make a big statement in that game. ACC, Big 12, I think, are kind of viewed as comps around the country. I would have said the Big 12 got the better of things last year. What else stood out to you yesterday? Any specific players?
Any specific players? I don't know if I would say any specific players.
Cincinnati had an offensive lineman yesterday when I was walking out. That was just massive. He was big amongst the other big dudes that were here. Gavin Gerhardt is a good player for them.
What about the Tech guys, the linebackers, and
it didn't really see much
Big 12?
Yeah, I didn't see much of them. Their linebacker Jacob Rodriguez. I did see Cole Wisniewski. He's just a long, tall guy at 6'4" that'll play kind of that hybrid free safety position for them. He was a linebacker at North Dakota State, but Jacob Rodriguez, man, he made all kinds of plays last year. Yeah,
I think he led the Big 12 in tackles last year with close to 130 tackles. They're excited down there. They've went out and they've paid some money and got some players in the portal. Obviously got quarterback coming back in Baron Morton, who's one of the returning starters. He had, like I said, I think he had 28 TDs. I think he was maybe the leading touchdown thrower last year in the Big 12 conference. Only had 8 interceptions, but they went out. It's like they got about one player at every position that has really stood out. And I know they're good defensively. They got they obviously with the linebacker they got with Jacob Rodriguez, but they got some edge players and they got some depth there. So it'll be interesting to kind of see exactly how good Texas Tech is. A lot of these teams, everybody's playing in the non-conference. Everybody's playing like a really good team for the most part, either week 1, week 2, or week 3 in the non-conference. I don't know if there's really anybody that's just kind of playing some pushovers. Dave Miranda at Baylor was talking about they had a lot of guys. I think he said they had a lot of guys injured last year defensively. And Iowa State. Iowa State coach said that they had a lot of guys injured last year, and they expect to be better there. I know that was what Matt Campbell was saying. And again, they went 11-3 last year. 7-2, played in the Big 12 championship. So a lot of really good quarterbacks in this league in the Big 12 conference. I think overall, last year in the SEC had a bunch of returning quarterbacks. And it's like this year, the Big 12's got a bunch of returning quarterbacks that were really good. Levitt from Arizona State, Sawyer Robertson from Baylor, Sorsby from Cincinnati, Beck from Iowa State, Johnson from Kansas State, Baron Morton from Tech, Fafita. Everybody kind of forgot him. He lit OU up here a couple years ago in the bowl game. Jalen Daniels from Kansas, Josh Hoover from TCU. A lot of really, really good quarterbacks. And again, can these teams add with the, pieces of the puzzle, going out and getting a few guys here in the portal? And again, it's just going to make them a different team. Again, OSU's a team that's, they've got 60 plus new players since December, so more than half of their roster are new players that they've got. So how can they gel together? Haas Haney, how is, the quarterback Haas Haney is going to be, how's Zane Flores, who's going to be that guy? So should be an exciting year in the Big 12 conference.
Tell us what's going on at Mathis Home Superstore.
Well, Mathis Home is obviously having their price drop alerts. They're having it all through the month of July, so get out here to save big on every room in your house. They also offer a complimentary interior design service. Come up here. That's where we're located, just right up the escalator on the left. Come up here and visit with a designer who can help you with any project you have, big or small. You can talk colors, styles. They can get you on. They got big screen. They get you on the computer and lay out your living room, dining room, or whatever, and they can put furniture in there. Really, really good stuff. Also, through July 31st, stop by here at Mathis Home and get big on savings on Zoo Friends membership. All memberships are discounted. With membership, your family can get a free general admission into the Oklahoma City Zoo for an entire year, including Expedition Africa and other great exhibits. Plus, you get a free plush toy at Mathis Home. So Mathis Home is also a proud partner of Oklahoma City Thunder. Stop by and see us out here at 3434 West Reno.
More guests and plenty more action coming up from Big 12 Media Days in Frisco after this. great shape. Have you lost a little weight?
Yeah, I lost 5 pounds.
Okay, well, I mean, 5 pounds on me, I mean, that would look very much, but on you, it looks like that you've gotten in better shape. But what's been going on since the draft, and tell us what your responsibilities have been so far with the Dolphins?
Really just getting in the rookie mini camp, learning the playbook, being able to get in there and mingle with my vets and learn from my coaches. I feel like the vets at Miami, they're great. They lead me the right way. It's not like they just leave me out there to dry. They take care of me, make sure I know the ropes of everything. And since then, it's just been good doing that.
I'm fascinated with Mike McDaniel. He seems to me like to be one of the coolest dudes around. What have your interactions been like with him?
I feel like with him, it's just like y'all get from Mike Gundy. Literally, they remind me of the same people just because they always gonna show y'all who they really are. Who he is on the media, who he is when we're in team meetings. It's like he's putting on 2 faces for y'all or putting on 2 faces for the world. It's actually who he is and how he is.
Cale, that's a big compliment.
Well, I'm not surprised. Ollie, the other Coach Gundy here. How you doing, my man?
I'm good, Coach Gundy. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I tell you what, I've always been a big fan of yours. I was a big fan of yours from day one when I saw you in high school at Euless Trinity High School. And man, you knew that I coached running backs for over 16 years, and would have loved to have had the opportunity to help you continue to grow and mold as a player and as a person. But big fan of yours. Wish you the very, very best. And so, have you found a place to live down in Miami? Are you on the beach? Where are you at down there?
So not yet. Right now, it's just focusing on camp. Making it through camp, trying to make the roster. Just being disciplined with that. So right now they got us in the team hotel, and we'll be in there until camp's over and everything's through. So once I get through camp, I don't have to worry about all the other stuff. Then I'll try to find somewhere to live. But right now we in grind mode.
Yep, that's what you're in. That's what you're in right now. So tell us who are the other running backs that are down there and guys that you're competing against.
We have Devon A-Chain, Alexander Madison, Jalen Wright, Nate Noel, and then Alec Ingold.
A-Chain's
okay,
fast,
so
how is he? Yes.
Yeah, he can roll.
Without a doubt, he's very fast.
Bag, go ahead.
Well, what about?
I'm gonna hold out for the last question.
You're gonna hold out for the last question.
I got a very.
Okay.
It's more of a sign off with Ollie, fellow Oklahoma State.
Okay, that's fine. Again, I know last year there were people that were questioning whether you might want to sit out, and you came back and said, "Hey, no, that's not me. I'm going to make sure that I finish this out." When the season kind of turned down a path that you guys didn't expect for the year, are you satisfied and happy with that's what you did?
Honestly, yeah, I actually am. I feel like that just shows coaches at the next level that, say we have a couple bad games in a row that I'm not going to give up on them, and I'm going to keep giving what I got, the best that I have for my team and them. I'm not just going to throw it all in the fire just because we're not having a great season,
Any of those big linemen that you ran behind at Euless Trinity still playing football other places?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah. All right. They got a reputation. OU's had some pretty good linemen from there. Come out of there. All right, Bag. We'll leave you.
All right, Ollie, fellow Oklahoma State guy here, Oklahoma State grad, proud of it. We are currently statewide in the state of Oklahoma, from southeast all the way up into the Panhandle. So let's just give the audience quite the reminder. There's only one Oklahoma, and
it ends with state.
Amen.
All right, we're taking a break on that note. Kale is at Mathis Home Superstore. Ollie, we appreciate you stopping by. Good luck.
Thank you.
See you, Ollie.
Look forward to watching you.
Good luck to you.
Appreciate it, Coach Gundy.
It's the middle of the day show here from the Star at Frisco.
It's time for a refreshing break, sponsored by Coca-Cola Southwest Beverages.
Hey, man.
in general. I would be surprised if Ollie Gordon.
Hey, Mark, let me. You'd be surprised if he could.
If he did not make the team.
Oh yeah. You know, it's. I mean, I was just about to ask him if he knew how many backs that they're going to keep. You know, obviously, it all depends because it's like what Samaje Perine went through. Not always the starter. So if you're not the guy, if you're not the bell cow, what you have to be is you have to be a dude on special team. Be return punts, but that's the type of body that you want. You want guys like that are big and fast and strong that can run down on kickoffs, run down on punt teams, be jammers or not jammers.
Kale, keep the conversation going.
Okay.
It's on Kale's end, not our end, Mark. Right, Josh.
Just pick it up.
This is terrible radio right now.
Okay.
It says we're connected, so I'm assuming we're connected.
I can hear you. Somebody got to talk, though.
Okay. Then Kale is having some technical issues. Sorry for producing on air. Looking at so Kale was making a really good point about Ollie Gordon potentially playing on kickoff return or something of those lines. But Alexander Madison has had some issues kind of battling throughout his career. And he made quite a bit of money. Jalen Wright played at Tennessee. He's a little bit of the same kind of running back as Ollie Gordon, averaged 3.7 yards per carry. But the Dolphins do the running back by committee. I mean, David Achane is going to have the football in his hands some, but he's a little bit more of a specialty back than what they have, every down. And a couple of years ago, Raheem Mostert had a great season for them, and he's moved on. So I think that, Ollie Gordon's got a real opportunity in Miami in an offense that is very creative to do some things. So I like his chances.
Where can you get Kale?
Yeah, Mark. Is that a good Kale Gundy impression?
Yeah. So we'll get those issues fixed. Okay, let's take a quick timeout. We'll try to get some of these issues resolved. Bruce Feldman will join us at 1:05 today. Then we'll have Kenyatta Wright shortly after that. So quick break. Thanks for being patient with us while we work out the technical issues right here on the Middle of the Day Show. good timing.
Very good timing by Mark Rodgers right there.
Mark Rodgers, Teabag, Cale Gundy, Josh Lee in studio today, hanging out with you. Kel, tell us what's going on at Mathis Home Superstore.
Well, Mathis Home is having their price drop alert right now. So get out here, save big on every room, look for the price drop alert tags, and save. Largest selection in the state with something for everyone at the lowest prices. Mathis Home has fast, free delivery on everything in the store. Buy it today and get it delivered within a couple of days. They beat all the low prices like you can find on Amazon, Wayfair, and any other retailers, hands down. Shop and compare. You'll find that the lowest prices on every single item every single day. Also, check out all the Mathis Sleep locations that are located all throughout the state of Oklahoma, and the newest one on 63rd May in the Fritz Market Mall.
Anything else that stood out from yesterday to you?
Oh, I loved just listening to the coaches. I had a chance to, I think it was on ESPN News or maybe ESPN2. Yeah. And just love having the opportunity to listen to these guys and, listen to the new players that are coming back. Look what BYU did. They won the 11-2, and Connie Salaki's been there for 10 years, building that program on toughness. Now the big challenge for them is they lost Jake Retzlaff, their quarterback here just recently. So I think they're in a three-way quarterback battle. Not quite sure who that's going to be yet. They had a transfer in from Utah State, one from Western Michigan, and a high school quarterback from California. So it'll probably be the transfer from Utah State or from Western Michigan. Just, again, all the new players at Texas Tech and kind of what they're doing. They got two new coordinators, a new offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator. Offensive coordinator come from Texas State, who's kind of in that family tree of wide open offense, the run and gun type. Going to score a bunch of points. They bleed defensively with the players that they've got. They got a chance to be, difference makers on that side of the ball. And then, Dave Aranda, a lot of people think that they're going to really be good this year. And, defensively, Baylor was struggled last year, really, really tough. Even though they finished with 8 wins last year, they went 8-5 and 6-3 in the conference. But their offense just outscored a lot of people. And, that's what happened in the Oklahoma State game. That game came down the wire, and, Baylor just outscored them. So just, it's interesting to listen to these coaches battle and kind of go through the, transfer portal. A lot of the guys that you listened to yesterday, the Baylors, the Techs and the Kansas States, they're going to live and die in the high school, and they want to develop players. They want retention. They want to keep guys there as long as they can. And, but then again, try to go out and find the right people in the transfer portal.
What do you agree with the Big 12 stance of the 5 highest rated conference champions, along with 11 at-large teams?
I would probably say yes. That would probably be the direction I would go in. I don't like multiple guarantees. I just don't like that. I'm fine with, maybe having one from each conference and then go on down the road, but then it's got to be the next best teams, I believe. And I know it's hard. I know some conferences are tougher. I can't help that. I just can't imagine seeing a team or believe in a team should win a national championship with 3 losses. I just doesn't make any sense to me. I can see you going through a season. Nobody goes through undefeated. I can see you going through a season and losing 1 game, win a national championship. Maybe losing 2 games, win a national championship. But losing 3, like losing a game every 4 games of your season and able to still win a national championship. I just don't. Again, I've said it. In my opinion, there's only about 5 or 6 teams that can win a national championship every year, period. No ifs, ands, or buts. Now, there's some teams that, if you want to have, 14 or 16 teams in a playoff, they can get in there, and yeah, they may beat somebody, but they're going to get their teeth kicked in. They're not good enough to win all the way through the playoffs. So, and I know that's tough. I don't know how you figure all that stuff out. I just don't. I can't imagine a team.
Example of this, and maybe it's a bad one when it comes to. All right, let's just say it's Oklahoma. Say Oklahoma this year, they got a new quarterback. They've got all kinds of new questions. Michigan comes in and beats them. They lose one game in the SEC, and they lose in the SEC championship game. I mean, that would, to me, seem like a team that deserves to be in with the schedule that OU would have faced. That would be a team to me that deserves to be in a 16-team playoff.
Do you think that team could win a national championship?
If they can get to the SEC championship game, I think they can. If they go through the SEC with one loss, then I think they could get into the SEC championship game.
Yeah. I struggle with it. I struggle with a 3-loss team, Now, but again, I mean, yeah, you're throwing Michigan in there. Michigan's just like a team that they could play in the SEC.
Well,
so it's not like that it's not like they're just because they're a non-conference team.
But they win the Big Ten. They come to Norman. They win the
Yeah.
Big Ten. Then OU's lost to them.
Yeah.
They've lost one SEC game and losing the SEC championship game. That team is getting in, and I would think deserves to get in.
Yeah. I think it also depends who that SEC team is. Is it 2 different teams in the SEC that they're getting beat by? Again, that's.
Is there anything you would like me to relay?
But if you see,
by the way, I offered him a seat next to us, and I didn't really even get much of a smile. I was just a little bit of a wry smile, but he's got. It looks like maybe the last time he shaved was Monday or maybe Sunday night. I don't know.
Little scruffy.
Yeah, I would say that the hair is on point today, Kale. I mean, that's something to aspire to for us all. It's very impressive.
Got some curls in it, some little wave in it.
Yep, it's good. It's good, no doubt about it. Well, the 3-loss teams are going to get in the 16-team deal. But if you guarantee 4 teams from the SEC and you guarantee 4 teams from the Big Ten, there may be a year where there's a 4-loss team that gets in, and I think that's where you absolutely have to draw the line. And that's what I'll be pointing out if I'm Brett Yormark is, okay, listen, at some point that's going a little too far because there are going to be years that the SEC and the Big Ten are down a little bit, and maybe other conferences are up. So you should not guarantee those leagues that type of status and credibility to get into a playoff. It can be decided at the time of the year by the people in the committee that votes to make that call.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to talk about. I mean, I just don't know if there's a perfect answer across the board. I don't. I think there's some pros and cons to what everybody's saying,
There never has been a perfect answer. I mean,
you're right.
Even when it's 2, I mean, look at the year that you guys won the championship. I mean, a lot of people felt like Miami should have been in that game, and then they came back the next year with an incredible, one of the better college football teams that we've seen in the last 25 to 30 years. That 0-1 Miami team. The 2004 season, Auburn was undefeated and didn't get in. I mean, that was back before the days of the SEC dominance. But that was also a special season with the years that Oklahoma and USC had to. It's hardly ever been perfect in the playoff. It does guarantee, though, if you really have some kind of a shot at winning it, that you're going to have a shot to play for it.
Right. Well, let's say Michigan comes in and beats OU this year. You're I mean, what you were looking at, and then OU loses one game in the SEC, and they lose one game. They lose the SEC championship. So you think they would get in?
Yes.
You think they should? What if Michigan finishes 7-5?
I mean, that would hurt their resume, but the fact that happened early in the year and they went on that kind of winning streak and did play in the SEC championship game, that I think that gets them in. Because remember, we talked about that conference losses or conference championship losses shouldn't hurt you. That's an extra game But if you finish in the top 2 of the SEC, I would say 99 years out of 100 years, you should be in the playoff.
Well, because you've only lost one game. I don't think that I guess probably
I mean, it would be a bad, like, so you
should the championship should conference championships matter?
Yeah, I do think conference championships should matter. Now, if you want to honor the regular season champ, that's fine with me. If you want to have a game, then yes. But if you win a conference, I think that should have merit to it. Even if you win a conference like last year that was won by Arizona State with a record that wasn't, fantastic. But it would be odd if you lost a game in the regular. Oklahoma, say in a year they played Texas, they lost. They played Texas in the conference championship, they lost. Then you're going to put them in the college football playoff with Texas. I mean, that's kind of one of those deals where is the third time the charm. Rarely, I would think that happens in college football. I don't think that we've had teams play 3 times in 1 year ever. But in the NFL, at times we've had teams all the time play 2 times in the regular season and then play in a playoff, which is kind of where we're headed. I mean, that's the model. I think it looks like what we're doing.
Yeah, I got you. I'm sorry. I just I was trying to find Bruce Feldman's texting me right now. So
looking for us. Tell him we're on the 15-yard.
Well, I told him. That's what I just sent him that. So you might have. You might ask to see if Teabag.
I mean, I'm sitting like 3 feet, and I can touch my arm right now. Do you have any message for Coach?
No. He's looking for Bruce. Tell.
Oh,
you may have to get up and wave.
Bruce. Yeah, Bruce Feldman is I think. I think he's going to be heading that way. So I would just say, if you see him walking around, make sure and grab him. So.
All right, we'll do that.
I mean, Bruce will be a great guy to answer or ask these questions too.
Yeah. Okay. We can open that up. That up for question. So. All right, right now at the podium, we have the head coach, Brent Brennan, from the University of Arizona. Arizona feels the same to me as Arizona State felt a year ago. That last season, Arizona State kind of snuck in and snuck out without much fanfare or attention. Now everybody yesterday was interested in talking to the Arizona State guys, but haven't seen many of the Arizona players walking around so far today. But that's a team. Oklahoma State goes there early in the season. To Tucson. They still have Noah Fifita, who had a great freshman season, not quite as good a year ago. I'm sure that after that success that Arizona had 2 years ago, that Brent Brennan, they will want him to win some games this year.
Yeah, they lost some guys. I think they kind of snuck up on some people. Their offense was really, really good. Again, big fan of Fifita. Obviously they were, would they win 4 games last year, only won 2 in the conference. They were obviously a little bit better than Oklahoma State. But I don't think they're expected to win many games this year as well.
They get
what their over-under is.
By Arizona. The lowest over-under total in the league this year is 5.5. There's nobody lower than that.
Oh, I thought West Virginia was 5.
They are that's. I would think Arizona's 5.5 or 5 right there. There's nobody lower than that.
Yeah, I think I've got it right here. Arizona's 5.5. West Virginia is 5.
Arizona.
UCF is 5.5. OSU's 5.5.
Is Hawaii, Weber State, and then Kansas State, all at home. But that's just kind of that odd situation where the Kansas State game is a non-conference game, and 5 of the first 6 games are at home. So some teams are going to have to go in there and probably play in a warm environment.
Right. It'll be Kansas State. Kansas State plays in. They play Iowa State first game of the year, right?
That's right. In Ireland.
Over in Ireland. It's a long flight. That's 8, 10, 12 hours, something like that.
I'd go to Ireland. Somebody told me that I had to go over there and cover that game.
I think Ireland's a great place.
I would make it. I would be down.
You could have more pints than the coaches could that week of preparation.
According to all of our texters today, it would have been tough to have more pints than Scott Frost. That would have been something you would have to send to when he was over there before they played Northwestern a few years ago. I thought yesterday they had Pop-Tarts all over next to the trophy that Bag was so impressed with that no way were they going to bring the life-size, the living Pop-Tart over there, but I guess that's the case. They're going to do it.
Yeah. Has there been a Deion Sanders sighting yet?
I don't think he's here.
Have you seen his players?
Yes, the players are here, but I haven't seen any semblance of him as far as if Deion walks out, there's going to be a big crowd. I think people are going to be gathered around him. But the players have been out here, including the only kicker to
There's a kicker?
Media Days. Yes.
A kicker from what team?
Colorado.
Okay. Well, I hope Coach Sanders is there. If he's not, I hope everything's okay. I know at one time here recently, I think he was a little under the weather, kind of sick.
That's right.
A little bit. It'll be interesting to see how they respond this year because they lost 2 dudes.
Yeah, here comes Bruce. All right, he was scheduled to be on. Deion is scheduled to be on the podium at 1:20, which is after Brent Brennan, and so I don't know. We'll know.
We're gonna see.
We'll know here shortly. So, Bruce Feldman is joining us from Fox Sports, also The Athletic, the author of the Freaks List, which we want to talk about here coming up. But Cale and I were just having a debate. Cale is on the strong opinion that a team with 3 losses should not be considered to win a national championship or to play in a playoff. So, one, do you prefer what the Big 12 likes, the 5 conference, the best 5 conference champions plus 11, or the guaranteed model?
I guess I agree with Cale because we're probably the same age.
And
yeah. The thing that to me I have the issue with is I've always felt that college football had by far the best regular season. And part of it was there wasn't a ton of margin for error. When you start losing games, the games don't matter as much. And if you have that, I think there's like something should be special if you were undefeated, even if you're a 1 loss. If you start stubbing your toe a bunch of times, there's too much margin for error. And I feel like I get why the NFL is that model, but we're not the NFL. They're not the NFL. So, I'm with you on that.
Have you run into any freaks here so far?
I have a few. There's a couple guys who I've had multiple times. Dominique Orange is a defensive tackle from Iowa State. It's been there a few times. There's a Dante Corleone who's here yesterday from Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
Another guy's been there multiple years. So I'm sure there will be a few more. So we're right around the corner. I've been working on that for now about a month. It usually takes 2 or 3 months to get it done, but hopefully I'll get done by early August.
Okay. I think last year's like August 12th or something like that. So
okay.
I'm there sometime.
I'm on the clock is what you're saying.
I know how that goes. I mean, you're done when you're done.
Go
ahead.
Hey, Bruce. Thanks for taking time to join us. Did you have a chance to go to the Elite 11?
I did. I was there. I was there a couple weeks ago. It's in my backyard. It's in Manhattan Beach. That's actually the town I live in.
Yeah.
It's the high school stadium where my kid plays a bunch of games at.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So if you
has
a
good quarterback.
Well, that's what I was about to ask you. If you're at recess, okay, and you're picking your team, who's your first quarterback that was at that Elite 11? Who was number 2? Does 1 or 2 guys stand out?
It's interesting because Willie Fritz is here, and the coach at Houston, they had the most impressive guy there. Keyshawn Henderson was like a wow player, and he was also the way he carried himself. The coaches there, as well as a lot of the 7-on-7 kids, he just I've covered that thing for over 20 years, and a lot of times the 5-star guy, if there is one there, usually you can kind of tell how they carry themselves. It's not to say that they're all entitled or whatever. There's a vibe of it, but there is a little bit of something. And he was there. The way he carried himself was almost like the contest winner, where he was very appreciative of everything and, elite athlete. I just thought there was a lot of wow factor to him. Having said that, I think this year's group was much better than it has been in the last few years. And so, Bo Bentley was somebody where it's day 2 and I'm watching him at night, and you could just feel there was some serious juice with this kid, and I know at one point it was LSU,
right,
OU, and whoever got him, like he was one of the guys who I want to say was a little bit of a revelation, because you watched how he threw it, but there was something about just kind of the presence he had. It was like he was going to work, like I remember I happened to be close by when they had the target challenge, where it's a bunch of targets, you've seen that kind of drill, and he was just operating. You could feel how dialed in he was, and that kind of stood out, honestly, compared to a lot of the other quarterbacks I saw.
Last year we talked in Vegas, and you said 8 or 9 teams could win the league. I think we agreed on that, but really the correct answer was 16 teams could win the league. So we had the voting privileges revoked this year by the commissioner. Who do you like in the league this year? Is there too many to name?
It probably is. I mean, one of the schools that I didn't mention last year ended up winning the league,
right.
So it shows that. One of the schools that played for it, though, I think Iowa State's really good. I really like Rocco Beck as a quarterback. I think Matt Campbell's got the culture and the way they want to play kind of back in, and I think they've got good leadership in the locker room. They would be the one, but I mean, to me, I think it's 8-10 teams could win the league, right? As I look around, you sit there and see Iowa State, K-State, ASU now is a problem for people. There's a lot of good quarterbacks in the league, right? And I think that's a big piece of it. Baylor, quietly, did a good pivot last season. They got rolling. Their quarterback's really good, so that's what makes this the most intriguing league. I'm not going to lie and say, I think they're better than the SEC or the Big Ten, because they don't have it at the top. But when Yormark goes out there yesterday and says top to bottom, we're the best league, they're definitely the most competitive league for sure. I mean, you look at the 2 teams that struggle the most, and one of them is walking away right now, but it was like they've typically been the most reliable teams, Utah and Oklahoma State. And last year, they had all sorts of injury issues, and I think the margin for error is very, very slight in this league.
No awkward glance on your brother's walking off. He just gave us the backside salute. Dillingham, to me, he has the right amount of passion and fire, and then also the ability to, I think, coach a football team and lead an organization. I think he's destined for big, big things. What do you think of him?
I think so too. We often use this term when it comes to players. He has it. Kenny kind of has it. Now, it helps that he just came off, winning the league and really gave Texas all they could handle in the playoff too. But yeah, I definitely think he's a really good fit for where they're at right now. Obviously, now the big challenge is, can you sustain it? Because there's a lot of other really good coaches in this league. And, I think back to, some of the guys I've run into here. Just a couple of years ago, Sonny Dykes was coming off playing for the national title. And then, it wasn't like the bottom dropped out, but I think sustaining it in this league, sustaining it anywhere in college football is hard. But I think sustaining it in this league, where the margin for error is very slim and the gaps in talent is very slim from top to bottom. It wasn't that far long ago where Kansas felt like it was rolling. And then last year, the first half of the year, they really struggled. And then at the end of the year, they started beating good teams. But, it wouldn't shock me if they bounce back. I mean, their quarterback's been here 4 times. You just don't see guys with that kind of experience.
We just had Sonny on, and they were a field goal away from being Baylor. I mean, they lost to Baylor by 3, and they'd won 5 of 6, and they've got good players coming back. They've got a good quarterback. So a lot of these teams do look a lot the same.
They do, and I think there's a lot of good quarterbacks, and I think there are a lot of coaches who know what it takes to win, not just in this league, but what works in college football. I mean, I'm looking around, I see Rich Rod up there a couple of minutes ago. Don't underestimate him. That guy knows how to coach. He won at Arizona before. He beat Georgia when he was at West Virginia. I mean, even if he doesn't know his quarterback is yet. He's got 5 or 6 of them, but he knows how to win. And I think there are guys who have like a unique understanding of what works, especially what works for them. And I think, again, just if the circumstances come out right, they can stay healthy, they get on a roll, then all of a sudden they're dangerous.
Kale, go ahead.
Yeah, Bruce. So Texas Tech, I think we all know what they've been doing recently here in the portal, spending some money not only in football but other sports as well. Is this the team, if they can continue to do this for another year or two, can really take a huge step? I mean, where is this going to be able to get them? If they have a quarterback and they continue to go out and get these certain type of players, is this a team that you could see possibly contending for a national championship or making a run to get into the playoffs?
I think the wild card here is the quarterback good enough to lead them into the top 10? You know, I think they've evaluated it very much into who they believe in. They've clearly spent a lot of money. Now it's like you got to be better than 8-4. You got to be better than 7-5. You actually got to be better than 9-3. You know, if your payroll is $55 million, what are you getting for it? You know, and it's great that you can be the talk of the off season, which right now they are. But again, pressure's on Joey McGuire. I know they want the pressure, but like they've been the talk of this Frisco for the last, day and a half. And they're going to be, I'm sure there'll be chatter about them in other leagues because they're the upstart. They're the outsider. Again, if you tell me, and again, I don't want to put all the pressure on Baron Morton, their quarterback. He put up some good numbers there. But if you're going to be a team that is competing for national titles and turning it around, you got to be a playmaker. You got to be a clutch quarterback. And that's what I think. That's the next piece of it. And then if you can get in the top 5 and the top 10, then I think you can be a team that has a chance to really be a national title contender.
I got a quick follow-up, Kel, and then I'll let you go. But, last year,
okay,
they get the Defensive Player of the Year projected in Rodriguez. They go to Washington State early last season, and Washington State would keep scoring on every possession if they played for another, 5 quarters or whatever. So they've got to fix defenses.
So what are you saying is somebody should have gone and tried to find whoever that Washington State quarterback is and brought him in for the portal?
He was pretty good.
Where did he end up anyway?
They like him in Norman a lot. Reminds people of Baker Mayfield. So, Kale, go ahead.
Yeah, so Bruce, so tell me what's going to be more challenging or what was more challenging, trying to figure out the model in the college football playoffs or coaching your son's Pee Wee football team here a month or two ago?
Since you know some people connected to the Pee Wee football team, I would say it's the Pee Wee football team because
I think those people that probably couldn't be mentioned on the radio station, right?
But they are Cale Gundy fans. I'll say that. And so what's interesting is no matter how talented some of them are or some aren't, it's like what I realized is motivating and reaching them at different times is a puzzle that is hard to figure out. I'm sure it's when you're a real coach, I'm sure that's a challenge into itself. You have 100 kids, but when you have like 8 of them and they're 9, 10, 11 years old and you see them do amazing things and you see them doing like head scratching stuff, it's, I don't know. I hate to say it like this, but like I end up caring way more about that than I did about what I get paid for.
That's good. That's awesome.
So Bruce, I got one more. Arch Manning. How good is he? What kind of season can he have?
Cale, the people I really trust at Texas behind the scenes have been really effusive about how football smart he is, the way people relate to him, the way they feel like he can lead, and his playmaking skills. Now, all that's great, but you got to do it in games. He started 2 games, hasn't played that much, as you know, and you obviously played the position at a high level. All that stuff is great, but you have to, it's like you need time on task when you're actually playing the game, right? They have to replace 4 offensive linemen, 4 starting offensive linemen. One of them was a top 10 pick, who's not playing for the Saints. And so that's a challenge. You lost a first-round receiver who was a, really
I was going to say practice is going to happen sooner than
a couple weeks.
Yep.
Yep. We start the 27th, start getting everybody in, but it seems like it never stops.
Right. Kale, go ahead.
Kenyatta, thanks for joining us. Hope all is well. What's the difference? Again, we were just talking recruiting. I mean, you guys have had multiple very good recruits commit here recently. One of the top players in the state of Arkansas. Some publications say he is number one. One of the top players in Oklahoma. Some publications say he is number one. Obviously, the Presley young man whose families played there. What has been the difference? Because if this is will be looked upon as one of the better classes that OSU has had in a while. What's the difference been so far in the recruiting up there at Oklahoma State?
Well, obviously, after we got our coaching staff here, after the coaches were let go in December, and our first meeting, Mike was very, very adamant about us building relationships with the top players that we were going after in the high school and also the portal. So we've had a relentless pursuit with everybody in the building, being in touch with the athletes that we're recruiting to let everyone know that we wanted them. I mean, that's building those relationships. They got stronger. It took a lot of time because some of those races we weren't in. And I think that they got to see our staff and got to see what our future looks like. And they started believing. And it's just a great environment to be in anyway. And Coach Gundy's done a really good job of selling what our future of Cowboy football is going to look like. And those kids wanted to be a part of it.
Tell us about the new coaching staff. I'm sorry, Kale, go ahead. Follow up, and I'll ask that question.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Mark.
No.
Go ahead. Well, no, I wanted to get into the revenue share. How have you guys decided? I mean, how is this going to be broke down? Let the people know that are listening to the radio. I mean, the share of money that you're going to get for football, and let's just throw a number out. Let's just say 3/4 of it. Let's just say $15 million. Could be higher, could be lower. How are you guys going to be breaking that up? Is that by position? Is that by achievement, play on the field? How's that going to be broken up, and is that going to change every year?
Yes, it's going to be a really different year to year on what's going on, Ollie. Ollie Gordon's here. You got to let everybody
we had
know.
him on.
But it's going to be different. We don't got Ollie Gordon on our payroll this year, so it actually helps out our running back room a lot. Good. But, yeah, it's a slot value, Kel, that we do for all the rooms that we have on our team, and we try to stay strict on that budget per room, and we go get players that really, really produce in the game of football to fit those slots. And that's kind of how we do our budgeting for our rev sharing.
Is that standard that you run into? Because we had this situation with Texas Tech that Bruce just wrote about with their – they maxed out an offensive lineman of what they could kind of pay for one position. So is what you guys doing different than what everybody else is doing?
Yeah, we are doing because you only have so much that you can guarantee. And I know some schools you hear that are maybe guarantee something outside the cap, but we're not doing that. And if I had $55 million, was it $55 million?
I don't know. Who
I
knows
would have went after Tom Brady. I'd have went after Tom Brady first. You know what I mean? You got Tom Brady, you can go win some games. But at the end of the day, yeah, we have a slot number for every position that we have on our roster.
So let's say Kenyatta that player X is he's getting $175,000 this year. How does that money get dispersed to him? Is it upfront? Is it monthly?
No.
Is it bi-monthly? How do you do that?
We do a percentage in the fall when they're playing, and then we do another percentage in the spring when they're not as active. We kind of did some numbers and did some positive things. The way we were trying to do it was give their bulk of their revenue when they're playing football. And then when you're in the spring, you have a different amount. And it averages out to be a monthly amount over 12 months.
And just like the Big 12 told us yesterday, they're getting on PayPal.
Yeah.
Right? They see just
well, it's not. I don't think it's not even ready yet. So it's coming, but that's another partnership that you kind of have to use.
That's kind of cool. I think that's definitely.
You like
PayPal?
Stuff.
I mean, when somebody's sending me one, I do. Yeah, I do like that. Whatever it comes in Cash App, but Kale's told me about the enthusiasm that's up there and with the new coaches and everything. Have you noticed that as well? And what are some of the guys that kind of stand out to you?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's whenever the new staff got in place at Oklahoma State. You ever seen the movie Mission Impossible?
Yeah.
When all these guys are flying in and they don't really know, they know the mission, but they may not know the other person's coming. That's kind of how it was. And they hit the ground running, and that excitement hasn't slowed down yet. I know that a lot of them are not in the building now because they're taking their family vacations and things like that. But the enthusiasm, the excitement, it never stops because Coach Grantham and Meach are calling me. All their coaches are calling. They're still recruiting hard. They're still contacting everybody that they need to contact, and they're ready for football. I think the planning phase of it is done until we report back. But all of our kids are still carrying on what the coaches have put in there and put into development wise. But it's an exciting time, and as a player, as a former player, like you want to see that and you want to be a part of that, And I feel like just that alone will win some ball games.
I like that. Kale, anything else?
Yeah, no, I know what you're going through, and it's I laughed, I giggled when you said that this is my vacation. I'm down here at the Big 12 because I know what you do. Your job's 24/7, 365, and appreciate everything that you're doing up there, and excited to see where the Cowboys are this year. Last question for me is how many new players, Kenyatta, did not go through spring football, if you know this number off your head, that were in the transfer portal that you guys signed during the spring portal time that came in that are there now in June or whatever?
I think 18. I have to go back and look, but there was 18 or 20. There may be 20 to 30 guys because the high school guys that weren't here in the spring. There'll be about 30 guys that we've never seen practice.
Wow.
And the first time we really just got to see them, just work out, and do some things like that. And we haven't seen them practice though.
Kel, you need to get on your brother. I think they flew down this morning and they're flying back tonight. They don't even get to go to Del Frisco's Double Eagle Steakhouse or anything like that. You guys had to wait on a plane and land at a different airport?
We had to land at McKinney. We were going to Addison, and then I guess there was a plane stuck on the runway, so we had to go to McKinney.
That's better than landing on time.
Oh, you did?
Last year in Vegas, man, we had to stay
you got stuck in Vegas.
Day and a half.
Right.
Because the tarmac was 150 degrees.
Yeah, that was.
And you got to go to dinner, and that's how you get to go to get an extra meal out of it. I think y'all all went to dinner one night since you had to stay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, nothing against Wendy's. That's good, but there's some maybe better options in a different genre. Buying Wolverines back in the state championship game this year.
They're in a lower division. They don't have to play Washington, so they should get back.
Yeah. Davis team's pretty good.
Yep.
So, all right, Kenyatta, we appreciate your time, man. We look forward to talking to you soon.
Hey, you too. Appreciate you.
Enjoy your vacation.
Thanks, Kenyatta.
Oh, I will.
Yeah, get to do some interviews with us. Kale, tell us what's going on at Mathis Home.
Yep, Mathis Home, get in here for the price drop alerts. They have all the latest looks and all the unbeatable savings. Whatever your style, they have it here in stock, so you will not have to wait. Also, check out all the Mathis Sleep locations that are located throughout the state. The newest one is in the French Market Mall here on 63rd and May. They have all the top mattress brands like Tempur-Pedic and Purple with deals you won't find anywhere. Also, the month of July here, stop by Mathis Home and get big savings on Zoo Friends memberships. All memberships are discounted. With membership, your family can get free general admission into the Oklahoma City Zoo for an entire year, including Expedition Africa and other extra exhibits. Plus, you'll get a free plush toy at Mathis Home. Mathis Home is a proud partner of the Oklahoma City Thunder.
And I would like to tell you the biggest event of the summer is right around the corner. Get ready for the H&H Shooting Sports Annual Summer Expo. Mark these dates down. Friday, July 18th. Saturday, July 19th. Come try before you buy on the gun range with all the newest firearms from the nation's leading manufacturers, plus enjoy store-wide savings in every department. We'll have special door prizes and tons of giveaways, and you can bank on it. The For You Cafe is going to be open Friday, July 18th, Saturday, July 19th. Miss Siobhan will be serving up the Great Patty Melt, which is the sports animal special. Breakfast all day now until 5 p.m. when they close. Desserts, cookies, it's all tremendous. Make sure you say hi to Miss Siobhan, give her a hug and a shout out from the Sports Animals. It's H&H's biggest sale of the year, the Summer Expo, July 18th and 19th at Oklahoma's headquarters for guns and gear, H&H Shooting Sports.
A fresh new season.
interviews and content from Big 12 Media Days and upcoming SEC Media Days next week, Monday through Wednesday. If you're riding around out there and you got yourself an Apple or an Android phone and you do not have the Sports Animal app, you should download it right now. I mean, that means that you don't have to ask us, where can we pick up another station that has you guys on it, all those kind of things. It's just always there for you. It's as simple as pushing a button, listen to one commercial, and then you're good to go on there. So Sports Animal app, I use it all the time. I've been using it down here a little bit this weekend too. Deion Sanders is here. He just answered questions from the media and apparently did not answer a question from one reporter that he had used an expletive to. What did he say?
No, he said bull junk.
Bull junk. Oh, he didn't say bull. Okay.
No,
he really said literally
he said bull
junk. Okay.
He said, I'm not answering your bull junk or something like that.
Okay. Well,
there was bull junk. I know that.
I haven't seen Deion walking around with everybody else, and so maybe that's just part of his recovery from what's been going on. So hopefully he'll be ready to go when the season opens. The amount of time that we spent last year talking about Colorado and the amount of time this year we spent talking about Colorado, or just the amount of buzz around Colorado, is so drastically different than from last year to this year. It's crazy. I mean, they were picked close to the bottom of the league last year. We had a big argument with Sam, which we'll give him some props on, believing in Colorado, and they had a great season. I don't know what to think of them this year.
I mean, they don't have the star power they did last year, for now at least.
Yeah, they had legit star power last year.
When you have Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, Shedeur's was probably the most polarizing college quarterback with his dad being Coach Prime, and then Travis Hunter, who went on to win the Heisman. They still seem to have that star power this year, but I'm guarantee you by week 3 we'll know pretty much that entire roster, because they're going to be all over the TV. They're going to be all over the headlines and everything. So, yeah, definitely not as much buzz with them this year. And Coach Prime's been very quiet here on Media Day, outside of telling the Athletic he's not going to answer their bull junk. But by week 3, Colorado will be the center of attention in college football, especially if they're winning.
Hey, Ken, what do you think of Bruce Feldman saying that the University of Houston quarterback commit may have been the best looking one in 11?
Yeah, I was curious because I thought I saw here recently that there was something on social media that he was there, and I was just curious of kind of what he thought. Yeah, that's interesting. And I believe that quarterback is committed. I don't believe he's signed yet, so he's just committed. It'll be interesting to see if they can keep him locked in. Obviously, there can be some other teams that'll come in and go after them. But then I was curious to see what he said about Arch Manning. I believe exactly what he said. I mean, everybody hears that this guy's extremely talented and has all the tools and all the skills. But again, you're going to it's different than you get thrown out in the fire and you're taking a snap 75 times a game. I mean, you're the guy consistently, week in and week out. So, especially with some new offensive linemen, I mean, obviously they've got players down there. They went out and got some guys in the portal that will come in, but that offensive line last year was damn good. And I do not think that they can be as good in the offensive line as they were last year. So I see them, it'll just be interesting. They lost their running back, even though they got a great one replacing them. They lost a couple of receivers that got drafted. I know they went out and got some guys. They lost offensive linemen. I think the defense is going to be extremely talented, which they lost some guys over there, but they got some unbelievable players, some first-round players coming back. Interesting that he said he thought the 2 teams standing would be Texas and Clemson.
I have not done a lot of research on Clemson and the rest of their roster. Cole Klubnik got better as the season went along, and maybe early in his career just had some natural growing pains that a quarterback's going to experience playing as a young guy. But it would be a huge win for Dabo Swinney if they can extend their season to that point, because he's taken some heat for not buying into the transfer portal and the things that go along with it.
Well, exactly. But I mean, who's to say that that's the answer? Everybody just thinks that it's the answer. Here's the answer. You got to have a quarterback, number one. number one, you got to have a quarterback. If you have a quarterback, you have a chance to achieve a lot of things. Now, what all's around you? But obviously, I mean, people been talking about Clemson like crazy, and we know that they got a quarterback. He's one of those guys. He's not flashy, but he just seems to find a way to win. Comes from a great program down in Texas, high school program. So, but people think they got a chance to be there at the end. So obviously Bruce Feldman does as well.
I was driving around the other day listening to the station. It was ESPN radio, and it was they were calling in and asking guys to give their hottest take, and they're going to have a king of the mountain. And this guy's hot take was, if Brian Kelly loses the first game of the season, he should be fired before he gets back on the team playing. LSU's first game of the season is at Clemson, which is certainly one that they're capable of losing. So getting off to that start. But there's your good quarterback battle right there. Nussmeier and Bubnik.
Yep.
I think Nussmeier.
Yep. No.
All right, we got to get back
pretty good
on the clock here. So let's take a quick break. We'll have one more wrapping it up here. I'm going to stay on with Jim for another 30 minutes. And again, make sure you go check out all of the coverage that we've had here today and yesterday at thesportsanimal.com or the Sports Animal app. Kel's at Mathis Home Superstore. More coming up from the Star in Frisco after this.
OKC, your Oklahoma City Thunder, are the 2025 NBA champions.
The final chapter reads, the Oklahoma City Thunder are the 2025 NBA champions.
What a historic season for our city, our state, and our team. Congrats from Dent Masters Collision OKC.
tell us the latest going on at Mathis Home Superstore.
Well, you better get out here. Get out here and check out the complimentary interior design service. They've got their own service out here. You get a chance to speak to a designer who can help you with any project you have, big or small. Whatever you're looking for, they have it here in stock. All styles you want as prices you will love. They have fast, free delivery on everything in the store. You buy it today to get it delivered within a couple of days. Also, go by and check out all the mini Mathis sleep locations that are located throughout the state. And the new store is over in the French Market Mall on 63rd and May. Also have Mathis Home in Midwest City and in Tulsa.
All right, outstanding. Make sure you go by there and see them. So all of the coaches are finished at the podium today, and as we said, and wondered about Deion Sanders is here. So there'll be some different breakout sessions, and then that'll be it. This is about the earliest media days that I could remember on the calendar. Usually it comes a little bit later on in July. I would think that there's something to this that Brett Yormark wants to be first, that everybody has a kind of a taste for football, and he wanted to be up there in the first conference to do it.
I thought he did a good job. I listened to him in his press conference yesterday, and was very engaging with everybody that was asking questions. And the guy's got something to him. I mean, he's a wheeler dealer, and seems to be doing some good stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I think that he's over the top good, and it was a great hire at the time to know that you need somebody to be a promoter, because this league needed promotion more than ever. And he's been really good. Any team that you came away maybe more impressed with after hearing from them as opposed to before?
No, I don't think so. Again, everybody's pretty excited. Again, there's so many good quarterbacks in this conference, and so every coach feels pretty good about their team because they got good quarterbacks. If the ones that got returning quarterbacks, and then you got some others that are trying to replace, and just kind of have some question marks, I think, more so. But this conference is going to be really, really good. A lot of depth. And it'll be interesting to see how it goes. And again, I just think times change. It's just different because of the transfer portal, because teams are able to get so many new players. And how good are those players? Again, these kids come from all over different colleges, Division I, Division II levels. But how good can they be in the Big 12 conference? So we'll just kind of wait and see. And again, nobody picked anything or talking about Arizona State at all last year, and look what they did. They won the Big 12. So, of course, they got on a roll. They had a good quarterback, and they had a big-time running back. So, we'll see. Excited to watch it.
I was impressed with – I'm impressed with Houston. I think that they're going to be considered a team that's not picked probably even in the top 10 going in. And Willie Fritz was able to get the job done at Tulane, where they competed and won a New Year's Day Bowl against Lincoln Riley there. And then he's had to deal with his players leaving all the time. I've never really heard him complain about that very much. I mean, other schools have poached his guys. And so he's an old school football coach. And he's an old school football coach that's competing in this new school era of all of the things that are going on with transfer portal and NIL and everything else. So I'm kind of impressed with them. After taking a little bit of a closer look at the personnel at TCU, I think they have some potential. I wouldn't have put them in a group. I was asked yesterday to pick give my picks in the top of the conference. And it took me a while to say the teams that I thought were going to finish in the top three, because it is so difficult to handicap the race. I mean, I think Arizona State is for real. If they're not being picked up there again this season, I think that people are sleeping on them, especially with the quarterback they have, because I might like him better than anybody else in the league. As Moxie, his ability to run around the pocket, his ability to throw the ball down the field, he's got his top receiver coming back, all of those things. So, anyway.
The other one that's intriguing is the quarterback from Utah, the transfer that came in from New Mexico, Dampier.
Don't know.
A lot of people think he's going to be. I know a lot of people think he's going to be the newcomer of the Big 12.
Well, if they get that play, I would assume their defense at Utah is going to be back because they just had so much uncertainty the past couple of seasons with Cam Rising. You know, whether or not he's going to play, is he questionable? I mean, remember the Oklahoma State game last year? I think we're talking about him warming up on the field, but he just was never out there. That has to be a tremendous distraction on a team.
Yep, I agree.
Kale, good job. We appreciate your help coordinating everything down here, and we'll talk to you again soon. So we appreciate it.
Sounds good.
That'll do it from us. Bag, great job this weekend. Thank you for all you've done down here, and so appreciate your help. And
job, Tyler.
Bringing the coverage to the people from the Star and Big 12 Media Days. We will take a break. I'll come back with Jim for a segment right here. Thanks for tuning into the Sports Animal.
The 2025 college football season is around the corner. The Sports Animal